and join us for a second. This is Talkaoke, a pop-up talk show, and now we're speaking about cycling. Do you came here by bike to the park? How did you came here? How did you come here? Hey, I'm Timna. What's your name?
Thai.
Thai. And what's your name?
My name's Lucy.
Okay. So Thai, how did you come to Wormholt Park?
By walk by my house.
As you
From my house,
walked,
yeah.
do you? So you live not far from here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pioneer. Yeah.
Okay. And do you always walk in this area or?
Yeah, always because my children study at Wormholt Park Primary
Okay.
School. Yeah.
Ah, okay.
We live around here.
Okay. And do you always cycle?
Yeah, I actually end up getting kind of almost my legs start hurting if I walk for too long because I cycle so much. I
Okay.
cycle everywhere.
Lucy just told us that she lives in Brixton, so she lives in a different area. Is Hammersmith a nice area to walk around?
For me, it's very nice. It's
Okay.
good. Yeah, I like a living area, and the children have a lot of playground here and Hammersmith Park, and I think everything is very good.
Okay. And from your point of view, could there be things which could be better for people who walk a lot, or?
Yeah, I think it's quite very safe, and I walk around and anytime. I think it's very safe for me and my children. Yeah.
Okay. And what would you need to walk more in your area?
Would I need to walk more? I'm not sure. I don't want to be made to walk more. But I did used to cycle. I used to work in White City, so I'm kind of familiar with the areas of community gardens here, which I really like. But I did find Earl's Court really polluted on my way here. But I guess that's actually from my journey from Brixton all the way here. That's actually maybe not here.
So pollution is something where you say, okay, for cycling it's not the best thing. Is pollution a topic when you walk in this area for you?
For me, I think around here is like a lot of park and the garden is okay because I walk around. It's not pollution. Have a lot of pollution for me.
Okay, there's not a lot of pollution. Okay, and is in general pollution a topic for you? About which you think in your everyday life?
Actually, I'm come from other country that are more pollution than here.
Where do you come from?
Yeah, I come from Thailand.
Okay.
I live here. I just come here last September.
Oh, so it's almost a year.
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
great. And comparing Thailand to have you ever been to Thailand?
I've never been to Thailand.
Okay. Me neither. What could you tell us about Thailand and the pollution in Thailand, comparing maybe to?
It's not a lot of park like here, and everybody use car and a lot of traffic jam. Like in Bangkok, it's very busy and very have a lot of pollution. I think.
Okay, so
compared to here. Yeah.
Okay, so there's way more pollution. So you come from Bangkok, I assume.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And what would you do living in Bangkok when sorry if Thai is your name? Yeah. Thai tells us there's a lot of pollution in Bangkok. Would you cycle also in Bangkok?
Cycle. I mean, I don't know. I'd have to see. But I wear a mask when I cycle if it's polluted. But ultimately, I'm thinking of trying to move out of London because it's so polluted. So, maybe I wouldn't live in Bangkok. I don't know.
Okay, but let's ask Thai. Did you move away from Bangkok because of the pollution, or?
Oh no! I am follow my husband to he came to study for the PhD at Imperial College.
Okay, so he studies at Imperial College.
Yeah.
Okay, I see. And
What does he study?
A PhD in and he is a physician in infectious. He is a consultant in infectious disease, and he study about the antibiotic resistant. That is his project. Yeah.
okay, yeah. So we also have here's a stand from the Imperial College. They're making another study. Maybe Esther will tell us more a bit about this study. So. Yeah, and so this is Talkaoke. It's up to you to decide on what topic we are going to discuss. Do you have a specific topic in which you would be interested, Lucy?
I was going to say antimicrobial resistance is really interesting because it was the big thing of like this could possibly be the next pandemic, and then we had a pandemic and everyone was like, oh, antimicrobial resistance, we're not that bothered about it anymore. It's COVID that's the problem. And so I think it's, in my mind, I haven't thought about antimicrobial resistance as like a thing to worry about since COVID, but it's still really important.
Yeah. Do you have a question?
I'm trying to get, is it, there we go,
Yeah. Maybe I'm just going to turn this in a specific way that I can, this is, no? Okay, just these are like the sound effects and. Yeah. What do you think about this? About the resistance? Do you have more of an insight from the study of your partner?
Yeah, he study. Yeah, we have a lot of information about, and now we have like a lot of bacteria that resistant, like a pan antibiotic. Yeah, and we have. He tried to figure it out. How can we figure that not happen, and we can try to like control the antibiotic and control the way to use, and we have to stop that because it's like a new problem for the use of antibiotic. Yeah.
And are you also a scientist?
Yeah, I'm consultant in endocrinologist. Yeah, but now I'm not studying. I have full-time mommy here.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, how? Do you have one kid, more kid? How many?
Two kids.
Two kids. Okay. And as you're living with your kids in this area, what do you think about in general about this area, Hammersmith and Fulham?
For me, it's very good. It's a very nice place, and it's like that I tell you, it's like a living area. They have a lot of park, a lot of playground, and my kids love it very much.
Okay. How old are your kids?
6 and 4.
6 and 4. Okay. Do you have kids?
No.
Okay. And would you live with your kids in Brixton?
No.
Okay. Why?
Because of the air pollution. I think I stress a lot about how polluted London is.
Okay.
And I say quite confident. I mean, that's the hilarious thing though. You make comments about your future self of like, when I have kids, I definitely won't do this, or when I have children, I'll do that. Who knows what I'll do? I don't know what pressures, but for me, I don't want to have to be spending a long time in a city that's polluted, especially with developing children. I don't know.
Are you born and raised in London?
No, I'm not. So I'm actually from a city in the north called Leeds. I'm from like rural Leeds. So I grew up, like my house was surrounded by fields and sheep. So I grew up like in the middle of nowhere.
The perfect picture we would see in a beautiful landscape movie. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So like I think for my background is far away from pollution. So there's a bit of a clash for me.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I see. And do you know Leeds?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think about Leeds?
Oh, actually, I did not go to that before, but I think it's actually I know it just from internet.
Yeah. Okay. So would you recommend Ty to go to Leeds because do they have better air than in London?
I mean, it's still a city, so I live on the outskirts. But what's your internet reference for Leeds?
I can't remember that, but it's like a city that it's very nice city, and like yes, I think it's better than London. In about pollution, yeah.
Maybe. I mean, still pretty polluted and still a busy city centre. It's a good university town, lots of students. But yeah, I mean, I like Leeds is fine.
So would you move to Leeds with your kids because
I'm also no.
Okay.
Who knows? I don't. You know what? I don't like to be too prescriptive about the future.
Yeah.
And so right now, children aren't even in the future.
Okay. I'm gonna ask Ty if that's okay. Did you have like any thoughts about how you want your kids to grow up? Because you just recently came to London with your whole family.
Yeah, I came to London because my kid, because I think here the education for the kid is better than in Thailand, and then I love that, because my husband he came here because of.
Come and join us for a second.
He came here because it's like he give the scholarship from Thai government, but he has to go back. Yeah.
Okay.
That's why we but I think here is a very good experience for us. But we will stay here 3 years.
Okay, so for 3 years. And how does the school system in Thailand works?
You mean the education?
Yeah, the education.
It's like a private school and government school. It's not like like here. Here, I think it's the same, but everybody can study in the government school. I think government school here like same standard as international schools in Thailand.
Okay.
That's very expensive. Yeah.
Okay, so this kind of private school in Thailand would be really expensive. In Thailand, it hits the same level. So you think it's about the education is better here. Okay, I see. Did you go to school here or actually in Leeds or in the?
I did go to school in Leeds, yeah.
Okay, and what do you think about the school system?
There's many parts of the UK school system, and I think. I've got so many thoughts on the UK system.
Go for it, Lucy.
I mean, like, I just think it's currently quite there's a huge divide between private and state schools, where I think if you go to a state school and you have any form of neurodiversity, like you're not well supported. I don't think the education system supports people who are like neurodiverse at all. Like you go to university, you're tested on like reading and writing, less on presenting, and like very heavily focused on like writing lots of things. So I don't know.
Come here. We're having a chat about school. Do you go to school here in London? Come on over. Yeah.
So yeah, I would change the education system in many ways, and one of them would.
What would be the most important thing for you for changing the school system here in the UK?
Oh, I don't know. Well, it was a long time ago, but I would say I'm thinking more about university system now. Is that there would be just more like diverse assessment, not just like write an essay, test you on it. But formal education for like children, unsure. But I don't know, maybe you might have comments on how to change that education.
Do you have comments on that concerning the school system or educational system or maybe even the university? Did you go to university in Bangkok or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bangkok. Yeah. You mean in Bangkok? I think the education is not equalized like here. Here it's more equalized.
Okay.
In Bangkok it's very different. If you didn't have to afford to pay the more money, I think it's different for the kids.
Okay, so it's a question about money. Can you afford to bring your kids to a specific school or not? Is that different comparing to the UK?
There are again like state schools, and if you can't afford a private school, you would go to a state school, or if you don't agree with the private school system, you send your child to a state school. So yeah, I guess like you're saying in Bangkok that there isn't. Like you can either afford to go to school or you don't go to school. Is that what you're saying? Sorry.
We have like a government school. It's like a free for everyone, but compared to the private school, it's very different and quite very different. Everything.
Hello, come over. This is Talkaoke, a pop-up talk show, and we're speaking about the school and educational system here in the UK and in Thailand. Where are you from? Hi, do you live in this area?
Yes, I live in Eskom Court, opposite the Queen's Mill School.
Okay, and what's your name?
Mutu Karapan.
Mutu Karapan. we're here with Ty. What's your name?
Oh, I'm just observing. Esmeralda.
Esmeralda. With Lucy, my name is Timna, and this is Talkaoke, a pop-up talk show. And it's up to you to decide on what topic we are going to discuss. So we just started this conversation. We were talking about air pollution because Lucy cycled here. Lucy thinks that the air pollution in Leeds, where she comes from, is better. And okay, maybe not. And Ty just told us about Bangkok and the air pollution over there, and how she enjoys to walk in this park. Do you come from this area? Do you live here?
I do. Matter of fact, I live 2 to 5 minutes away from here.
Okay. Do you have one of the beautiful balconies?
No,
over there?
unfortunately, I come from the rougher side, White City Estate.
Okay. What do you think about White City? Is there any air pollution in White City?
Yes, I understand Imperial's doing some research around air pollution that may be affecting the local community, and I'm for that.
Okay, so you're for the research. Okay, and would you in general say that the air is polluted? Would you say that the air is polluted in your
If the
region?
wind blows, it collects a lot of dust, so there's a lot of pollution.
Okay,
And I'm also involved with the air pollution. I work as a casual worker for the Imperial College, and we got a stall here as well.
yeah.
So
Ty.
I'm here for that as well.
Okay, so
And
also
then,
you're also part of the research. Can you tell us a
Yeah,
bit
yeah.
more about the research? Because we have one scientist here and someone
We're
who
trying to
lives.
sign up 100 families over this year. And then we'll put more, especially people with families who's got asthmatic children and all that.
Give me 1 second, Ty. Could you give me your final thought just concerning this this conversation which we had? What is your final thought? What do you think?
I think about the pollution here, I think it is better, and I think this area is very safe for me in my thought. But I know that in every capital city, it have to be some pollution. But compared to Bangkok, I think here is better.
Okay, thank you for that final thought. Okay, so what Ty just mentioned, because she comes from Bangkok and she lives here now for 1 year, that here the air is way better because we have so many parks. But coming back to the research, please tell us a bit more about the research from Imperial College.
Well, they carried out air pollution about 5 years ago. Imperial College, I was involved with that. We went around the whole London area. They've got monitors around London area to measure air pollution outside in the city, along the roads and all that. Say, for example, like an ice cream man, if this engine is on, then there's a lot of air pollution as well. And then later this year, early this year, they recruited me, and I'm doing with the research with them. But now we are trying to measure air pollution inside the homes.
Okay, so indoor air
Indoor air pollution, because it can come in various forms. From
Okay.
your kitchen, from your fires, from your bathroom, for the chemicals you
Okay.
use and all that.
Let's ask the others. What do you think about indoor air pollution?
Indoor air pollution, like as I understand it, there isn't too much that we know about it. But I know that when my partner sprays his deodorant for like 5 whole seconds, I feel disgusting, and I make him go and do it near a window. And in fact, I'm like thinking about advocating for him to shave his underarm so he doesn't have to do it.
Okay, Mike. What's your name, sorry?
I'm Mikey. I don't really believe in deodorant.
Why?
Why? Because why not just wash your armpits? Do you know what I mean? I think it's just another product that the companies want to sell us.
Okay, so Esmeralda, what do you think on do you think that deodorant does pollute our indoors, so our homes?
Deodorant.
Yeah.
I understand that some deodorants, especially the spray-on one, lead to cancer. I don't know if it's what's the word? Controversial comments to make.
Yeah.
It's not an informed comment. I'll take it back. Don't cancel
Okay,
me.
we'll ask someone who might know. Do you know if deodorant provokes cancer? Have you heard about this?
Honestly, I don't know.
Okay.
But it depends on the chemical composition of the deodorant, If depend what the manufacturers put it in there. If they put in a lot of chemicals in there, then it could cause cancer,
Okay.
Even the food we eat.
So it's
Because
about
of
the
the
ingredients. Yeah.
because of the chemicals that goes into the fertilizer, and then that can even cause cancer. But how many people believe it, I really don't know.
Okay, and Mikey?
No, I mean, whether it causes cancer or not, you know, if you don't use it, you know that you're not going to be at risk, even if it's shown that it doesn't cause cancer. I just think it's just another chemical that we are convinced it's a little bit like, I mean, maybe things like Listerine is a bit more of a case for it, like breath fresheners or whatever, but it's just, we're convinced that, oh no, we smell, we have to buy another product, basically, to stop this embarrassing phenomenon.
So it's about marketing, you would say.
Yeah.
So companies who produce deodorants do have good marketing?
But so
Lucy?
you believe you should use Listerine, but not deodorant?
I think, yeah.
In certain circumstances, yeah, definitely, yeah.
When would you
When
use
someone's got
this?
really, really bad breath, then you have to get close to their face, for sure. I'm worried it's me now. And that's the thing, well, you know, there's always a concern about it, isn't there?
But then, for me, I worry about smelling, and I don't want to smell, and I want to be able to talk to people and not have them thinking. Like I've been in a room, like at school, or sometimes there'd be people that like really like someone needs to just like take them to one side, and just like it's to the point where it's like unpleasant.
Okay, so I'm interested, like, is maybe smelling, and could that infect air pollution too, when people smell?
I think we should normalise body smells. I think that's what we're hearing today, right? Is that what we're saying? In that we shouldn't smell unless there's bacteria involved, right? When we sweat, but there's also normal body odors. Maybe we've been programmed not to be used to those smells as well.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, my friend said that there was someone who like lived in the forest and was like a conservation. I'm not sure who he was, but like completely was at one with nature, and like you would go with him and he'd take you deep into I don't know where it was, but you had to like not wear any. He was so sensitive and kind of you had to like not wear any perfumes, anything, because it would distress him. I can't remember what it was, but I agree, like there's an element of, but sometimes they're indicators. Like I would say my hair tells me that it needs, I have curly hair, so I don't really wash it all that often because it looks better if it's not been washed, but I can go a really long time, it doesn't look bad, but then it just starts to smell.
Okay.
It's like, or do I just ignore it and let everyone put up with the smell of my head?
But this might be also interesting, like, is air pollution, is that something, indoor air pollution, which we could smell? Because you were speaking about the engine of someone's cars. Would we smell that?
Yeah, just like you use domestos in the bathroom. You can, of course, smell it. People buy all sorts of things and all that to spray on. You can still smell it, you know?
Okay, and
Yeah.
when I smell something which I use a product in my home, does it mean that it's bad?
Of course it's bad, you know. Over time,
why?
because over time, you know, your body, your lungs will collect it. But how is it going to come out? So over time builds up. The pollution will cause damage to your lungs as well.
Okay, and could that also provoke cancer?
I'm not a scientist, so I don't know.
Okay, you don't know.
But you are going to be here. Are you going to be here in 2 weeks' time at this Wormholt Park when we have the festival?
On the 3rd of September?
Yes.
Yes, we will be here. What is happening on the 3rd of September?
It's W12 Together. This is organized by the W12 Together charity called Big Local, and I'm one of the board members. Esme is another board member. So we'd appreciate if you come down. And if anybody comes there, I would appreciate if you can pass it through.
Yeah,
nice talking to you.
We'll leave a couple of them here.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, so you're the organizers of the next festival on the 3rd of September.
You see, you know, pollution is. You can talk back into the 50s. Right? Where I come from Malaysia. Those days in the 50s, you can go to a stream and it's go like that, and then you can drink the water. Can you drink it now? Why? Because the water is polluted. Huh?
That's a good question. Do you have a stream in Brixton or in Leeds?
I have a stream in here.
Okay, please give me your final thought about this whole conversation which we just had.
I think keep this going on.
Why?
Yeah, because this is publicized about air pollution and it will educate people, you know. And if people want to sign up and all that, let me know. I'm next door here. Yeah?
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Esmeralda, hello, please join in. Esmeralda, please give us your final thoughts.
I just want to thank you all for this engaging conversation.
Give us a
Normalize
floor,
all
please.
smells. We won't cancel you if you wear deodorant, but don't bring your candles. You're still welcome. Thank you.
Okay, bring your
Thank
smell, but don't do it. Thank you, Esmeralda. Have a great day. So this is Talkaoke.
Is there a problem with candles? I missed that. Is there a problem?
Can't-
No.
None of the information I share is all my thoughts or the board's thoughts. Thank you. Disclaimer.
So, like in the news recently, I think even just I saw today, I think that they. Oh, someone else is speaking.
Don't worry about them. Keep going.
All right. So in the news that like there's been like water companies have been dumping was it bad water, was it untreated water, sewage, just like around the coast, like, and loads of people now can't swim or anything. Like Hastings, like all along the southeast coast, they've just been dumping the water. And then like I saw a video of the people who were called community members, and they keep doing it, and then the people are like, oh, it's an accident, we don't know what's happened, as they're like funneling tons and tons of wastewater into the sea.
And how can that affect my health or your health?
Sorry. I mean, like, I think it affects like wildlife health, and then marine health, and in turn we eat marine stuff. We share a planet with them, part of a bigger system. And how does it affect me? Then I also can't go swimming.
Hey, now you can see this is the Talkaoke table. What's your name? Do you want to speak in? Come speak name in the mic. Sit down if you want to. This is Talkaoke. I'm here with Mikey and Lucy. Hello, come on over. What's your name? What's your name?
Remy.
Dreamy?
Remy.
Dreamy.
Remy.
Remy. Okay, perfect. Hi, what's your name?
Dobon.
Please sit down, Dobo and Remy. This is Talkaoke, a pop-up talk show, and it's up to you to decide on which topic about what we are talking. Are you from Hammersmith?
Yes, I'm from Hammersmith.
You're from Hammersmith. Are you also? Do you live in this area?
I was living there, but I went somewhere else.
You went somewhere else. So do you live far from this area?
I think yeah.
Okay. So what do you think about Hammersmith and Fulham? You want to leave? Okay.
Speak word.
Are you wearing
So it's filmed, but it's not a live stream. Yeah. It's filmed and you can find it on the internet. Hi, this is Talkaoke, a pop-up talk show. Come on, here we were speaking about smells, about Hammersmith and Fulham. Sit down if you want to. Come and join us. Are you living in this area?
Please, by example, come on.
Are you living in this area? Okay, and what do you think? How was the experience living in Hammersmith? How was it living here in Hammersmith and Fulham?
It was good, but then we moved somewhere else.
Okay, and what was good? What did you like?
I like the school in Hammersmith.
Oh, what was special about this school?
The teacher was kind and people being not kind, but something is a little bit bad because sometimes nobody play with me.
Okay, I see. Are you the brother? Are you
Cousin.
Okay? What's your name?
Yamin.
Yamin. Hey, Yamin, and you, Remy with an M. So we're here with Mikey and Lucy. My name is Timna, and this is a talk show. So it's up to you to decide on what you want to discuss. We were speaking about Hammersmith. We were speaking about air pollution. We were also already speaking about the school system.
I was talking about how often I wash my hair,
Yeah.
and I don't like to wash it that often.
Okay. How often
It's
do you?
really tiring. If you have curly hair, if you have to have curly hair and you have to brush your hair, it's really painful, and I don't like washing my hair.
How often do you wash your hair?
Pardon?
How often do you wash your hair?
basically in a shower.
Okay, and how often in a week?
Showers every day.
Every day. Okay, how often do you wash your hair
Uh,
in a week? Every day?
no,
No. Every second day?
no. Because sometimes I forgot.
Ah, you forget. Okay. And how often do you wash your hair?
Every 2 months.
Every 2 months.
Yeah.
Okay. And we were speaking about later on about deodorant. Do you use deodorant for your hair?
Deodorants for my hair? No, I don't use deodorants for anything. I don't believe in deodorants. I think it is a form of air pollution.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you guys know what air pollution is? What is air pollution? Do you know what air pollution is?
Air pollution is when things by human activities cause pollution in the air. Mainly carbon dioxide. It's increasing rapidly these times.
Okay, and do you think this air pollution is indoors or outdoors?
I think it will be mostly indoors.
Okay, and why?
Because the houses in here, houses and flats in here are made to store the heat in winter, and the problem is that they just get dusty and stuff.
Okay, so because of the heat in winter, the air gets dusty. What do you think about the heater in the winter? Does that affect the air which you're breathing? The heater in the winter, when it gets dusty, what your cousin just mentioned, does it affect your air which you're breathing in?
I think it gets cold when the air gets cold, and maybe you can cough a little bit.
So I didn't get it. So you think it's getting colder when the heater is in makes the air dusty?
I can't really understand.
Me neither. So what do you think about air pollution?
Well, I don't like air pollution. I hear a lot about it. It makes me worried. It makes me stressed. Yeah.
We're speaking about air pollution at the moment, about heaters making the air dusty. What do you think about air pollution?
Pollution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your name? Sorry, let's start like
My
this.
name's Samia. Pollution.
Samia.
Yeah. Pollution because it's not good for asthmatic people, for the environment.
Are you asthmatic?
I got like allergic.
An allergy, okay.
Yeah, my daughter is asthmatic.
Okay, your daughter is asthmatic. And how does air pollution infect your allergy or influence your daughter's asthma?
Yes, because I don't know.
Do you want to take the mic? You can also take in your hand.
Because my English is not good.
I'm not English, so just go for it.
Yeah, it's it is difficult.
Yeah.
When she's getting, the cars.
Yeah, the outdoor pollution.
Yeah, outdoor, and we can feel it inside, and
yeah,
and it
So-
make too many problems.
Okay, so you can literally feel the outdoor pollution indoors, you would say.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
okay, and do you want to sit down? Was it Samia?
Okay. I'm okay, thank you for all. Yes.
Share with us a moment. We were speaking about air pollution, and sorry, I forgot your name. Yamin just mentioned that the heater in the winter makes the air so dusty.
Yes.
How does your heater?
You mean inside?
Okay, but does the heater make it more dusty for you, or how does how actually influences the heater the air in your home?
Nothing to do it.
Okay. No, give us your final thought, please.
What's that?
Give us your final thought. What do you just think about our conversation, which we just had, Samia?
Yeah, it's good. We need to help for the environment
Okay.
to make it clean, and the people they can look after the thing. Yes, that's it.
Okay. Why should we make the air cleaner? What do you think?
We need it. In the future, it's going to be. If we didn't look up about the environment, it's going to be bad and bad.
Okay, but what is going to be bad?
Because the weather has changed now.
Yeah, and will the weather have an impact on us as human beings?
Of course.
Yeah. Why?
Because because of the carbon dioxide increasing in the air, more heat is trapped, and the problem with that is that it causes the ice caps in the Arctic and stuff melt, which can cause more floods. And if we don't stop now, we don't have time.
Yeah, so
afterwards.
we'll have the climate will change.
Yes.
Yeah. And how does that in Mikey?
Well, I mean, I think that also does affect also local air pollution, because I think at the moment what's happened is the earth has got very, very dry. So a friend of mine was at a festival, and because the ground was so dry, it all got turned into dust, and people started breathing. I don't know if it's bad for you or not, but it got very, very dusty because we got we had floods as well a couple of days ago, but before then we had the earth really super, super dry.
So again, it was not the heater, it was the sun who made the outdoor air dusty.
What is it? Yes, Yasin?
Yeah.
Yamin. Sorry, Yamin is absolutely right about the fact that it is in the end partly caused by climate change.
And have you heard about the climate change? Can you explain us what the climate change is?
It's basically when the weather's getting warmer, and it's bad, especially for the Arctic. The ice caps melt, and when they melt, they turn into water, which makes more regular floodings and makes a higher chance of extinction of some animals there. The next generation might not even see. Like take for example the dodos. They go extinct because
dodos, the birds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They go extinct because they were not used to human activities, and they thought human poaching was regular at that time. So that's why they're extinct, and no one can ever see a dodo again.
Okay, sorry, but could you explain us what a dodo is? Because I think Lucy doesn't know.
It's a bird that got extinct a couple of 100 years ago.
And was it living here in Europe, or?
I'm not sure it was living, but I know that it did not have people. That's why it was literally a heaven for the animals there. But when they came, they did not know how to defend themselves, so they literally just gave themselves to the humans, and they just killed them.
So we're speaking about extinction of the dodos and the climate change.
Do you know if there are any animals that are like extinct in the wild? Right now, that's happening quite a lot, I think. There's like lots of species that only now exist in zoos, and it's increasing. And it's to do with us.
Do you know what extinction means? Maybe let's ask Lucy, what does extinction mean?
So I think extinction means that it doesn't exist anymore. It's not alive anymore. So you have like lots and lots and lots. It's not like one cow not being alive. It's like all of the cows gone. No more cows. You couldn't find cows anywhere.
Like the dinosaurs, that's totally correct. And
I was just going to say, it's very important, like, the way that the world is set up is that, like, everything carefully relies on each other, a bit like you rely on your parents to get you food, but then they rely on you to make them happy. It's a really nice, very careful balance. But if you take some of the stuff out, then we're in a bit of trouble.
Okay, and could you think about this? How would that make you feel? I'll ask you that question.
What if things went extinct?
Yeah.
So I personally have my nightmares consist of stuff to do with climate change. So I will be on an island and there's like a massive tsunami coming and I can't get off the island. I get very anxious about it.
Okay, are you afraid of the climate change? Yeah, I mean, are you afraid of the climate change?
I'm afraid that our government is doing literally nothing about it to support it.
Okay, what would you like, or what should the government do?
Basically, think less about getting out prime ministers and stuff, and thinking more about the real problem. They could have time to think about their prime ministers and the monarchs at another time, but there's literally no more time for to stop climate change.
And we have now you kind of let's say a new generation. What would you change if you would be a prime minister?
I would change that. I would change that. I will try to change the pollution and stuff.
Okay, and how would you change the pollution?
I'll stop burning fossil fuels. That'll be the easy way. But the problem with that, if we stop burning it right now, where would we supply our energy? So at least put it to the minimum.
Okay, so you put it to the minimum. So you would also kind of not allow cars anymore?
Electric cars is a good idea. I mean, they're planning to do it by 2030.
Do you have a car at home?
No.
Okay. Do you have a car at home?
I think no, but actually, it's no, I think. That's no.
No. Okay. So this is Talkaoke. This is a pop-up talk show. It's up to you to decide on what we're going to discuss. What's your name?
Verna.
Verna. So we're here with Mikey, Lucy. My name is Timna, with Yamin and Remy. I always wanted to say Dreamy. So, what do you think about pollution?
Oh, I'm not good in that because I'm. But yeah, I can do. I'm just like reading about that now because I'm doing the study of the theory test of driving. So they are talking about the pollutions from the driving, and they want to decrease the car use because it's more pollution and more using, like if we are going, the questions about that, like if we are going to a short distance, we use the cycle or walking rather than using the car.
Yeah. We were before you came. We were speaking about people walking in this area or cycling because Lucy cycles a lot, and Tai, who lives around the corner, she walks everywhere. Do you normally walk or?
Usually either walk or underground bus because we are not having the car, or Uber. This is like the main transport we are using. Maybe we are contact pollution because we are a medical stuff, so like the asthma and how it affects the pollution, how it affects like the chest or the blood. So maybe this is the way we are affected by the pollution from our side. Yemen have an asthma, so usually when he has like if anyone have a smoke or some like using smoke or some perfume or something, he gets affected by that.
Okay, so literally you can feel the air pollution directly in your nose, or
In my chest.
in your chest. Okay. Hey, this is Talkaoke. Please come over, sit down for a second. Are you also part of the family? Please come over. Tell us your name. What's your name?
Valine.
Valine.
Yes.
Okay, so this is Talkaoke. So it's up to you to decide on what we discuss. We were discussing air pollution. How do cars pollute our air? We were also speaking about cycling.
Well, I just want to. Yamin made a very good point that the government isn't doing enough, but I also feel like the local government isn't doing enough in London because the mayor made a charge on dirty vehicles, but that's easy to do. But there's no replacement for that. So I drive a van, and I would like to drive an electric van, but electric van is 3 times more expensive than a diesel van. And it could be that they could provide vans for, like, at the moment you can get a van, like a zip van, that you can just use for the day. That's quite a good way to reduce emissions. But why are they not electric? No one's really pushing that thing. And I think, it's easy to fine people for being dirty, but not so easy to make clean alternatives.
Okay, and do you have any ideas? What would be the alternatives? For we have heard you use the underground, the tube, but are there any other alternatives?
To what? Sorry.
To not only dirty vehicles. Yeah.
What have we talked through already?
We've just talked about the fact that the government does not do enough for making the air pollution actually better, and Mikey just mentioned that he thinks it's easy to blame on people like using dirty vehicles, but they are not creating any alternatives.
Yeah, I mean, I think my niggle is that should be easier to be able to cycle. Like for instance, a lot of places that are bike friendly, they have buses that you pull a rack down on the front of the bus and you can put your bike on. So you may have cycled half your journey and then are too tired to make it all the way back. Like for instance, in a big city like London, but you can't, if you've cycled across London, you're then stranded with your bike. You can't necessarily, if you're too tired, get back. So I think they should be trying to make life easy. Yeah, integrate it. Yeah.
Do you have any wishes concerning the local council on alternatives to cycle, for example, or to get, better?
Maybe allowing the cycles to be in the underground.
Do you want to take the mic?
No, that's okay. Maybe using the cycles to be allowed to go to the underground, because it's not allowed. So we can use cycles up to the stations, and then what else we can do? We will use the underground and then stuck at that point. If we want to go after the underground to walk a long distance, I will use either like the car, rather than if I have my cycles allowed to be in the underground, I can use it after that. So it's allow less use of the car, rather than if the underground or the train allow us to have the cycles.
So we need alternatives for our bikes?
Well, you've got, everyone calls it a Barclays bike, but it's in fact a Santander cycle. I actually think, you have to pay to use those. I think you should be you should get paid to use those. If you actually got paid to use those bikes, like you got paid per mile, then people would cycle them more.
Should we get paid? Hello, so do you want to give us your final thought before you leave?
The same is to allow electric scooter as well in the underground, because every time they said no, it's not allowed.
So another alternative to cars, electric scooters, which should be allowed on the underground. Thank you for that final thought. Yeah. Hi, what's your name?
Thank you.
My name's Kush. Hello.
Hey, sit down. Please give us your final thought.
No, that's it. Thank you. I'm interested with you. Thank you so much.
Okay, so the alternative to use more bikes in the underground. Yamin and Remy, please give us your final thought.
And also, they should plant more trees and plants.
They should plant more trees.
Because of photosynthesis, they absorb the carbon dioxide and give us oxygen. So basically, we'll get lower carbon dioxide levels if we plant more trees.
Thank you for that final thought. Remy, what's your final thought?
We can use a bike and then go in the underground and.
Okay, so you would love to take your bike with you on the underground. Cool. Thank you for that final thought. So, bye. Hi, this is Talkaoke, a pop-up talk show. So once again, what's your name?
My name's Kush.
Kush. What's your name?
Lucy.
And what's your name?
Mikey.
Hey, my name is Timna, and as I've said, this is Talkaoke, a pop-up talk show, and it's up to you to decide on about what we are talking. We've just talked about alternatives to cars. What could we use? We've heard a lot of alternatives, including taking bikes on a tube. Do you live in that area? In this area?
Yeah, I live in Fulham, so southwest London.
Okay, and do you? Hi, come on over and have a quick chat with us. Yeah. So, do you cycle? Do you walk?
I mainly walk. I don't drive yet.
Okay, and yeah.
I would, because I like to go places, but I don't just yet.
Okay, and which transport which vehicle would you use?
Hopefully a nice sports car, but until then, I don't mind a Corsa,
Okay, so we have someone who would love to get a lot of pace. Come on over and have a chat. Do you live in this area?
Sorry?
Do you live in Fulham and Hammersmith?
Come and have a seat. We've got.
Yeah.
got these two.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, what's your name?
Corridor.
Burden.
No, corridor.
Corridor.
No, corridor.
Corridor. What's your name?
Lifa.
Lifar. What's your name?
I'm Heath.
Okay.
I'm Heath.
Hey, Heath. Yeah, what's your shift?
I'm a first aider.
Okay, what does a first aider do?
They make sure everyone is safe in large events, for example.
Are we safe here, guys? What do you think? Kush?
Yes, you are. I'm an event staff too, so I surely ensure you're safe.
Okay. Corridor. Are you corridor?
Corridor.
Corridor.
Yeah.
Are you? Do you feel safe?
We're safe.
Okay. Do you need a first aider at the moment?
No.
Okay. So this is Talkaoke. We're just speaking about air pollution, Mikey.
No, I just wanted, because I remember when I was a teenager, I didn't want to learn to drive because I was like, this is environmentally unsound, this is polluting. But then I started doing this Talkaoke and I needed to drive to have a van. And I was like, wow, this is so cool. Being able to drive, I can go anywhere I want, anytime I want. I've got pure freedom, it's so good. So, you know, I do get it, you know, I think, okay, the current technology is bad for pollution, but surely we can come up with something that, you know, can get the best of both worlds.
So, I'm asking you, would you use an alternative if you could, which would have the same pace as your sports car?
I don't mind using an electric or hybrid, but I want a four-wheel. I want, you know, something I can step in and out of.
Okay. Okay, so we would need a car which is environmentally friendly. Okay, you have a...
So if a pedalo had 4 wheels and you can step in and out of it, does that count?
If we went 45 miles an hour, yeah.
Do you use an electric scooter, or what kind of transport do you use?
Electric car.
An electric car, okay.
Yeah. Automatic electric car.
An automatic electric car.
Some of it is hybrid and charged by diesel.
Okay, so it's a hybrid car. Okay.
And some of them are diesel, and one of them are electric.
Okay, and...
We have a Bentley. We have a Bentley.
Okay, a Bentley. Okay, and do you drive it here in Hammersmith and Fulham?
No.
Okay, where do you drive it?
We just like where?
Church.
No, we don't. So like wherever we're going, somehow we just like if we're going to I don't know, if like it's just all of us and our cousin, we'll just take a 7-seater van.
Okay, so when the whole family goes, you need a bigger car. Yeah. Okay, I understand. Would you drive by your own, or would you also drive with your family?
I would drive with my family. I think it's best to fill up the seats, save, you know, the environment as much as you can.
Oh, okay, I see. And would you drive a Bentley or a van, or what would be your favorite?
Do I have the option? I wouldn't pick a car that I could get scratched and have to pay a lot of money for, because I think, but I can drive, and I've driven abroad, and then I've got my car towed abroad. It seems to happen to me. Bad things happen to me when I drive.
Okay, guys, hi, hello, come on over. This is Talkaoke, a pop-up show, talk show. Kush, your final thought?
Everyone be kind. The world is nicer when everyone is kind. Thank you. Goodbye.
Okay, the world is kind when everyone's fun. What's your name? Hi.
Hi, my name is Amita.
Amita, have a seat. Take a seat. Come on over. This is Talkaoke. I'm here with Corridor. Corridor. And what's your name? Ifar. With Lucy and Mikey. My name is Timna, and this is Talkaoke, a pop-up talk show. So it's up to you to decide on what topic you want to discuss. We discussed air pollution. We discussed just recently what car would you use, which transport would you use.
A Bentley.
Would you drive a Bentley? Would you drive a Bentley?
No.
Why?
Because I'm in London, I don't need a car.
Ah, you don't need a car. And which kind of transports? Do you use any other transports?
I use the tube and the bus.
Okay.
Only public transport.
Okay. And do you live here in Hammersmith and Fulham?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And are you? Do you think you have enough public transport here in this area?
I think so. We do have enough public transport. So
Okay.
I don't need a car.
Okay. Corridor and Leif, please give us your final thought.
About what?
It's up to you to decide.
When you grow up, do you want to drive a Bentley or do you want to drive a
I'll drive a thing.
nuclear car?
I'll drive a car, but like I can't drive a car with a manual. I can't drive a manual.
Okay. So you need an automatic car.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand. If you would have the choice, would you also drive an automatic car?
Sure.
Okay. Why?
So much more convenient.
It's more convenient. What do you think about that? Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Would you do you have an automatic car or?
I like a manual car because I've been used. That's what I've learnt with, and I've been used to it. So it's hard for me. If I drive an automatic car, I've got nothing to do with my left foot. So unless I can find something else to do with my left foot, I won't drive automatic.
Okay. So it's up to you to decide on what we want to discuss. We've discussed air pollution, indoor, outdoor. There's some beautiful music playing here. So you live in this area. What do you think about Hammersmith and Fulham?
I think it's a nice place to live.
And why?
I think this is a nice area where there are a lot of families, a lot of happening things. I like it. So
okay.
I don't know. I can't think of more reasons.
Okay. Let's imagine. What would you like in this area if you would live here?
Well, one of the interesting things about this area is it's got a lot of football teams in this area.
Which ones?
QPR,
What
Fulham.
is QPR?
QPR is just there. And Fulham and Chelsea.
Oh, okay. Are you a Chelsea or Fulham or QPR fan?
I am not a football fan.
Okay. Are you a football?
Me
neither. Okay.
Me neither. I am not a football fan. I don't follow football.
Okay. So it's up to you to decide. Do you want to continue to speak about football, which you don't like? Should we play? But let's talk about the Lionesses. What do you think about the English Lionesses winning the European Championship?
I think it's amazing. I think it's incredible. I actually would only my partner really likes sport and is like obsessed with watching it, and was like, please, it's really important to me if you like come and watch sport with me. And I was like, I will come and watch sport with you if we go watch women's sport. And I like just didn't notice the difference. When you're watching women's sport, it's so much relatable to see people running around a pitch who are like kind of could be you. Like there's so much more than, it was just like a completely transformative experience. I was like, I could watch this so much longer than like watching a bunch of men running around.
Oh, that's interesting.
So I really
so
liked
kind
it.
of a testimonial which you needed to see. Do you want to say in?
No.
Okay. Have you watched the Lionesses winning the European Championship football?
Sorry, I didn't watch the match, but I did see the score and it was a great thing.
Okay, and would you rather watch men playing football or women?
Unfortunately, I don't watch a lot of football, so I would watch either.
Yeah, what kind of sport do you watch?
Typically basketball.
Basketball, okay. And do you have a favorite team?
Yeah, Golden State Warriors.
Okay, where are they?
So they're playing, they all play in the National Basketball Association in US.
Okay.
It's part of the NBA league there.
Okay. And do you play basketball yourself?
I used to play in high school.
Okay.
Not anymore. Currently, I'm more into badminton and...
Badminton. Do you play together, badminton?
Used
to, yeah. Not here, we have to find a spot. Yeah.
Okay, and here in Hammersmith, or?
Yep.
Okay, so is there a badminton club?
No, that's what you have to find. We recently moved here, so...
Okay. Okay, you just recently moved here. When did you move here?
Like 3 months back.
Oh, 3 months back. Okay, and where did you live before?
Hammersmith Grove.
Okay.
She was in Hammersmith, I was back in India.
Okay, I see. Have a seat, take a seat.
It's perfectly fine.
What's your name?
My name is Philippa.
Hi, Philippa. This is Talkaoke. It's a pop-up talk show, and it's up to you to decide on what we discuss. We were just discussing about the gender gap in sports, and Mikey was explaining us that he recently read that the gender gap is getting smaller, but it will take us another 267 years. What do you think about gender equality in general?
My uptake on this is that everything starts from the thought. It's your mindset and how you actually think about things. That's how I view it. So it's about getting people to change their mindset, what they believe, because what we've done, we've grown up and we've learned so many different behaviors, and it's about shifting our paradigm, and our paradigm is habitual behaviors that we've learned in our environment, people that we're around when we're growing up, and you naturally follow this process. So if you're in an environment, in a home that thinks a certain way, you subconsciously go forward in life and believe and do the same things.
Okay, so it's about the heritage. Were you raising your hand?
I'm just agreeing, and I think it comes back to Lucy's point about the Lionesses and the football. In the end, it doesn't really matter if you're into sports or not. It's the fact that women's football is just, until recently, was just completely ignored. And it might just seem, well, only men are interested in football, but it's all part of a gender gap, I think.
Okay, and my question to you now is to link those topics together. What do you think? How did the heritage, your heritage, influence the way you saw the gender equality?
I mean, okay, I come from an Indian family, predominantly patriarchal in nature. So I completely agree. I mean, it really depends how we are brought up, how we see things as a very commonplace thing in our family, and we pick up a few good things and a few bad mindset and accept it as completely normal, and we do need to change that.
Okay, we have a new face on the table. Hi, what's your name?
My name's Sophia.
Okay, hi Sophia. This is a talk show, a pop-up talk show, and we're speaking about the gender gap. Do you know what the gender gap is? Can anyone explain us what the gender gap is?
Well, I mean, I'll sort of introduce it. It's more, I was talking about the gender pay gap. I think there's lots of gender gaps, but the main thing is that I think women get roughly 70% of the pay. If you add up all the pay that men get and women get, it's about, 3/4 of the women get about 3/4 of what men get. And is that fair that men get that much more?
Let's ask Sophia. Do you think that it's fair that men get more money than women for the same?
No.
Okay, why?
Because men and women need to have equal money.
Men and women need to have equal money.
Sorry, that's wrong. I'm getting all the sound effects wrong.
Sorry, we're gonna go.
Okay, please give us your final thought.
I think the topics are very relevant, what you discussed, and I truly agree that gender gaps should not exist and we should be paid equal like men. And yeah, we keep up the need to change and do our bit.
The other 267 years.
Yeah, we have to bring that down.
Thank you. Please give us your final thought.
I think she covered it quite well.
Okay, so nothing to add from your side. Okay.
Thank you.
I have to let my wife speak.
Okay.
That's the first step.
Perfect final thought. Yeah. Hi, Kamanoma, what's your name?
My name is Zainab.
Hey, Zainab. And what do you think on the gender pay gap, or this? We were discussing inequalities in sport. There's kind of a gender gap between, in sports. That some Lucy were explaining that in the UK, women rather play land hockey and men rather play soccer. You don't think so? Okay, I'll just pass her. What do you think?
About what?
About sports. Do you play land hockey in school? Or what kind of sport do you play?
I play tennis and swimming.
Oh, so two sports, yeah.
I might do golf too.
What?
I can do golf too.
Oh, golfing. Can you do golfing here in this area?
Maybe.
Maybe. Okay, can you do tennis?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So you live in this area here in Hammersmith and Fulham?
Yes.
And you have, what do you think about this area in general?
It's nice.
Okay, and what is nice about Hammersmith and Fulham?
That we're close to everything.
Ah, so you think it's kind of central. Do you agree on that? I will pass that over. Do you?
Absolutely. I mean, it's central location, like easy access to transportation, activities, central London, which is amazing, museums, so many things. Yeah, it provides a lot. Yeah.
Okay, so are you also from living in Hammersmith and Fulham?
Yes, I've been brought up, I've grown in Hammersmith and Fulham, so I've seen the changes, and there has been a significant amount of changes between Hammersmith and Fulham, and for the better, I would say, definitely, and it's a lot more diverse as well.
Okay, so there's more diversity. Give us an example. What has changed?
Well, the buildings, number one, has changed, and the layout definitely most recently has changed because they've put in like bike lanes and so forth, so totally has changed the face of Hammersmith, I should say, and Fulham is following the gap, and also there's like surrounding areas such as Chiswick, so you can see definitely there's a change.
Okay, so we before you came, we were also speaking about, do people cycle in this area? Because Lucy mentioned she likes to cycle everywhere. Do you cycle here in Hammersmith and Fulham?
Unfortunately, I don't, but it's something I'm willing to do, hopefully. I mean, at the moment, I don't, but hopefully in the future it's something I need to look at. I'm a little bit too heavy to cycle, I feel like, with 2 kids in a bike. It just feels like... But yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of fear in me, so hopefully I just want to get that out of the way and then work on that, and hopefully... Yeah, it's something I'm looking at for the sake of environment, for fitness, for so many reasons. Yeah.
Yeah. You want to say something, Sophia? Please.
So.
Do you cycle here in Hammersmith and Fulham?
No.
Why not?
Because we have more things to do, like go to my brother's nursery.
To your brother's nursery? And do you walk to your brother's nursery?
No, we take the bus and the train.
Ah, you take the bus and the train. Okay, that's interesting. And would you prefer to take another transport to go to your brother's nursery?
Yes.
Okay, what kind of transport would you use?
Plane.
A plane! That would be interesting. That's a really good idea. Okay, would you also like to take the plane to go, let's say, to maybe to City of London, to take it a bit further from Hammersmith?
No, I prefer to take the planes, go a lot longer distance. But you know, walking's also very good for one, because that's another way that you can actually keep yourself fit as well. Cycling, I find it a little bit more daunting, and so what I think would be good is that if more workshops were available to teach people how to ride. And also, I believe that there needs to be stricter rules about being able to ride a bike, because anyone can get on a bike and ride, and they may not have the full experience to be able to ride in the road, so therefore it makes it hazardous for people who are drivers. And the reason why I speak like this is because I'm a driver.
Ah, that's interesting. Hello, this is Talkaoke. What's your name? Michael? Michael, do you live in this area? We were speaking about, give us your final thought, please. Hello, please join us.
Hello. I believe there's always room for improvement, so the good way to find out what is needed is to be able to speak to the residents and find out what is required in there and work around that.
Yeah, thank you for your input.
You're welcome, thank you.
Yeah, have a great day. Hello, what's your name?
My name's Junior Sterling.
Junius, what's your name? We will come back to you. What's your name?
Lucy.
What's your name?
Mikey.
What's your name?
Zainab.
Zainab. What's your name? Michael. My name is Timna, and what's your name?
Sophia.
Sophia. This is Talkaoke, a pop-up talk show. It's up to you to decide on what we want to discuss. Sophia just mentioned that she would like to take the plane to go to her brother's nursery. And we just heard that it would be nice to have more workshops, teach people how to cycle here in Hammersmith and Fulham. Do you cycle in this area?
No, thank you, no.
No. How do you, which kind of transports do you use in Hammersmith?
Shanks' pony, sometimes drive.
Okay.
Sometimes public transport, but mostly walking.
Okay, mostly walking. Is this a nice area to walk around?
It is, but there's just so much more that can happen in the area.
Okay.
Even when I'm been involved in events, community champions, and also I got involved in the Olympics, Paralympics, performed in the opening ceremony, worked at wheelchair tennis, and I just noticed that when you're doing your park events, there's no interaction. There's people sitting on grass, pims, and whatnot, but there's nothing.
Give me 1 second. Zainab and Sophia, please give us your final thoughts before you leave. Your final thoughts, Sophia.
Yeah?
Please give us your final thought.
Of what?
It's up to you to decide. What are you thinking?
Point that anybody made. What was?
The point where men and women have to have equal money.
Oh, equal money for men and women. Zainab, please give us your final thought.
I'm just going to follow up my daughter's final point. I don't think they should get paid equally unless they bring the same thing to the table.
Ah, okay, interesting. Michael,
Too late.
please give us your final thought. Okay, but that's really interesting what you were saying. So you think there's a lack of interaction in
Most definitely, not just in this park, but in a lot of parks. I would like to do events myself. I'll be involved in events where you show people, look, you know, you can do things for parents and children that can interact together as well. It's just, I don't know, sometimes you feel like you're talking till you're blue in the face. You've got Commonwealth Avenue there. We've just had the Commonwealth Games. Nobody was doing anything to do with the Commonwealth Games. It was not even mentioned during the Commonwealth Games, White City, the history of it. Next week I hope to be part of this workshop and everything, whereby I can actually detail some history to do with the area. Children are growing up, they're not knowing anything to do about the history of the area. Why is Australia Road called Australia Road, New Zealand Way called New Zealand Way, and many people don't even know the Commonwealth Games was here. Like,
okay.
Commonwealth Avenue, why is it called Commonwealth Avenue?
Okay, so lack of information which the people here would need. Hello, what's your name? Do you know each other? Yeah.
Yeah, Teely. My name's Teely.
Teely.
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, Teely. This is Talkaoke, a pop-up talk show. Hello, please join us. Come here. Come here and join us. This is Talkaoke. What's your name?
My name is Geopoldina.
Hey, Geopoldina. This is Talkaoke, a pop-up talk show. We were just discussing about the fact that there's a lack of interaction in parks, and there might be also a lack of information about this area, about Hammersmith and Fulham. Do you live here in Hammersmith and Fulham? Okay. Do you have information about this area here? But maybe we can ask someone else. I think you have a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I heard, because all the names around here are named after the former British Empire, aren't they? And it's something to do with the Commonwealth Games. I actually don't know what the details are, though.
I can tell you myself. We, in Japan, over here in 1908, we had an exhibition in 1910 to do with Japan and Japan's involvement. We've just had 150 years of Japan's involvement because they were part of a big exhibition, and then after that we had the games, the 1908 Olympics, and then after that we had 1934 Commonwealth Games, which was, I think, the first medal that Jamaica even won, yeah, from there. But there's lots to do with this area. That why is it called White City? If you ever looked at pictures of what it was like in 1908, it was like the Taj Mahal all over the place. This is why it was called White City. Yeah, from there. There's a road that's near here, which is got such history that I would love to reenact the story, because what it is that here's a race, and Britain and America, the first time 26 miles was run. Yeah, you know, the marathon, it was the first time it was run, and there was a race whereby American and the British was favourite. But along came an Italian person who was at the front, and he started to wobble profusely, and the crowd came along and grabbed him and got him over the line. So they disqualified his medal and said, no, you didn't win, it was either the American or the British person that won. So when the Queen of that day heard about it, she actually sent him this big silver cup that was like the FA Cup and named a road after him. Yeah? And so there's many people that may walk past Giant Road and not know the history of it.
They don't know there's
It's
China.
Durando Close. Yeah, and it's a person named Tony Durando. He was an Italian person, and he won the race, but they said he didn't win the race because the crowd got him over and everything. And I've actually mapped out, I would like to do a White City Run, which is an area of White City where people run, and it ends up on that road. We also have Japanese gardens here, which really is doing nothing. We've got Japanese people here that celebrate the 150 years, where they renewed the park. They've got images there and write-ups to tell you about the area and everything, what happened and so on like that. But how many people actually know it? And these are reasons why we can actually get together and have events, yeah, to do with other nationalities and so on, like that.
Let's ask the others. Hi, hello, what's your name?
Mel.
Hi, Mel. Do you live here in this area?
Yeah, around here.
Okay, and we were just discussing the fact that there's a lack of information, and it would be nice to have a, you call it White City Run?
White City Run.
White City Run. Would you join an event to get in touch with other people, for example, like the White City Run?
It's good to come out, get out the house to meet different people, like new people. Like events here is making it more thing for people. Interesting, yeah.
More interesting. Okay, so you would like to have more festivals like
yeah.
here. Okay. What would you like to have here in Hammersmith and Fulham? If you would have at least one wish, and you could say, hey, this is what I would like to have here.
What would they like to have here? Yeah, they should have things for the elderly people now.
For elderly people?
Yeah, like bingo, play dominoes. They took it away from us by the Fatimas, and we ain't got nothing no more.
What was it called? Dominoes? No.
Yeah, they used to play dominoes on a Monday in the Fatima Center, and now we ain't got nothing.
Was it kind of a community center, or what was it?
Yeah, it was like a community center, the Fatima Hall. You couldn't hire it to play dominoes, to hire a hall for dance, everything. The elderly ain't got nothing no more.
Okay, so this is, and why did they take it away?
Because they wanted to make the school much bigger.
Okay, so they created a new building.
Yeah, in Joe.
The noise level in it? The noise level, when you play dominoes, they've got a thing called key dominoes, which is 2 points at the end, right? And then you get 2 points ahead of the other person or the other group. And they also slam the dominoes, yeah, like that. And because of the laws to do with noise levels, noise nuisance and so on like that, this is the reasons why those things got stopped. You think about the parks that normally have drinkers there and so on like this. You go on Shepherd Bush Green, they've cordoned off where the tables are and that. And people used to eat there as well as drink there, sell drugs there. Pigeons used to come and think, wow, we've got a field day here. There's lots of chips and crisps and so on like that. So they try to keep the pigeons and the birds off the tables. But not just them, it's the people that sell the drugs underneath the table and so on like that. So the nature of things have changed as well. You have to take that into the equation.
Okay, so you said you would like to have a new place. And what should this place have? Do you know the place they were talking about where you were able to speak domino?
No, it was a Fatima Center, but there's nothing for the elderly no more. Because there's a YC community centre, but there's not much on a Saturday or Saturday evenings to do around here.
So there's a lack for elderly of activity for elderly people.
Yeah, there's a lack around here. Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna exchange with one of my lovely talk show hosts. Please stay. We will continue on this discussion. I will just go out. And so thank you for this great conversation now. So we started this conversation before you came about.
Recap. You jump out.
Okay. There you go.
So we started off. What did we start off talking about? We started off talking about cycling. We started talking about
air pollution.
Air pollution in the home. Is it actually? Is it deodorant? That's my favourite subject. Actually, is spraying deodorants actually causing air pollution in the home? What about burnt toast? What about heaters? People were talking about heat. And then we talked about dust, climate change, all that kind of stuff. Then we talked about, the Lionesses sport. We talked about what sporting people inspire people. Then we talked about the gender gap and the gender pay gap. Sit in the middle, sit there. They see it. And then now, and more recently, we are talking about the area and the history, and do people know? And a very good point. Is it Julius? Junius saying that actually people don't interact. I mean, that's actually, to be honest, why we invented Talkaoke, to try and get a bit more interaction going on in the park and other places. So I definitely agree with that point, and that's where we are now. So now we're talking about Domino's, Shepherd's Bush. Is it a haven for drinkers and drug takers? Is that kind of okay? And that's where we are right now. So over to you, Lucy. And let's give Timna a huge round of applause. It's been in the table. And now we've got Lucy, and we're going to keep this conversation hot.
Hot. Can everyone hear me? Is everything plugged in? Is everything going okay? There's been a smooth transition over.
I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
One of the things you mentioned there, obviously the big thing that's in the news at the minute.
Hang on a second.
I have a lot to talk about. People might say I talk a lot, but I do scenarios, and if you think about something that I'm going to say is when I was growing up, people used to invite each other more to their houses and so on, like a cup of tea or something to eat. And I remember growing up, and sometimes the wind was blustery outside, it was cold, and my mum would forget, or your parents would forget that they invited someone to their house. And, yoo-hoo, I'm here! All this all you hear. And the next thing you think, I can't let them in now. Well, hang on. And you're in the middle of tidying up, and you sweep beneath the carpet, the rubbish, hoping that the neighbour doesn't see it. And when I talked about scenarios, I put it to a situation where I was growing up, where if it was a deaf child or someone who suffered from multiple sclerosis or any illness where you didn't want your neighbour to see your child, they used to put that child in the other room. So I call it sweeping beneath the carpet. And a lot of things that we do now are actually swept beneath the carpet. We're talking about people now who are living, working, find it hard to make ends meet, to feed their kids, send to school and so on like this. But it's been going on for so long. It's not just now or just because of COVID. People have been struggling for years. I can tell you my own.
We're ignoring a lot of issues. Then, it used to start with people coming around and even just on a smaller basis, if someone comes around and has a look and you want to put something away, but we're going to bigger issues. Does anyone else feel like that they have stuff that they don't want to tell people necessarily? Do we feel like there's more of those that have been increasing the issues that we don't want to discuss with people? Mikey?
Well, it's a hard one to ask because people won't want to say, will they? But
anything you're happy to say?
Yeah, I do think mental health is a big one, and people don't like to talk about mental health. And so, yeah, it's better just to say, yes, I'm cool, I'm fine, I'm okay.
Sometimes there are things that you're happy to discuss within a smaller circle, but sometimes in a bigger circle. I'm going to do a recap of names, actually, because I think since I got in here, we haven't done a recap, and I'm not sure of everyone's names. And we've had a new person join at the table.
The subject that you were talking about there.
We're just going to do quick names. Sorry, it's Junior. Junior. What's your name? Sorry.
Mel.
Mel.
Yes.
What's your name?
Hello, I'm Mathilde.
Mathilde.
I'm Timna.
Timna.
Mikey.
Mikey, okay, I'm bad with names, I'll try extremely hard. Do you guys want to come join us, take a seat? What do you not tell people? What's your biggest secret?
What's my biggest secret?
I expect you to tell everybody. What's the secret you're happy to share?
Oh, give me a minute. 1 minute.
We were talking about things that we like sweep under the carpet, things that you maybe like, do you sweep like actual things under your carpet? Do you have other things?
Yeah, I sweep a couple of bits under my carpet.
Like metaphorical things or actual things?
Actual things.
Actual things. What things are underneath your carpet?
Probably a couple of pens, maybe a couple of little pound coins.
Pound coins. And so when we're talking...
A couple of little cable ties, maybe.
Cable ties are underneath there. And if we're talking about the things that are around our home, in our home, things that we do and don't want, is there anything else that is in your home that you don't want? Thinking about the air, maybe?
I've got like 4 sofas that I've accumulated over the period of my life, and now I need to get rid of them.
People say that you like can collect a few like vases, extra things. You've managed to collect sofas. Why?
Yeah.
How come you've got so many sofas?
I don't know. I've gotten into hoarding these days. See all of the equipment here? It's all mine. All of it's
incredible.
mine.
What's your name? Sorry, you didn't catch your name.
Nadia.
Nadia. Okay, this festival's put together by Nadia's Back Room. This is Nadia's Back Room, everybody.
So far, so good. That's
so
what I was saying.
So good. So far, so good is.
Yeah. So far.
So far. So good. Got it. Sorry, Mikey. So, you got a good like backroom pan? Anything else? Any physical items that you have collecting at home?
Physical items. Dust.
Dust, and that brings us, I think, nicely onto a topic that I'm really keen for us to discuss. Dust. Dust, would you class, what is dust? Is that air pollution?
I'm not sure because I've got a sycamore trees in our back garden, our garden and everything, and there's debris that comes off into your house.
Debris off the tree. What do you mean? Like is that like physical dust or like something from the tree?
The trees.
So like a final thought, Nadia. Sorry, Genia.
Love the sound system.
Amazing. Love a good sound system. We've got some drums over there and a sound system over here. And dust off the trees. So dust off the trees.
In my flat, I'm a designer.
Okay.
And we'll come back because she mentioned something to do with disability.
Yeah.
Generally, and when you mentioned about mental health, and the mental health of people living in their flat, like 1-bedroom flat, they're worried about being found alone in their flat. There's in my house.
Found alone? Do you mean if they weren't alive anymore?
Well, I found my friend dead alone in his flat, and nobody knew he was there for 4 days. And I'm not the same ilk, that kind of selfie world. I don't live in that selfie world. I more care about people and wonder about people and so on like this. And where you talk about we don't do it so much, it just so happened that 4 days I hadn't seen my friend, and this was his payday when you normally do see him, but I hadn't seen him. So I had to call round his flat. I'd arranged to see somebody in the evening from the morning. And I called around his flat 4 times, didn't get no answer. I went to my friend to see if he'd seen him. He said he hadn't seen him. So I went back to the flat and I rang a buzzer that I hadn't rang before. And I got no answer, but a woman came out of the flat to look to see it was, recognised me, that who I come to see. She let me in, and I ended up having to climb through his window. There was like a little voice that says, look, remember sometimes he leaves his window open. So I climbed through his window, tried to put on lights, nothing come on, went to the living room, no one there, went to the bedroom, couldn't see anyone, but when I went up nearer to the bed, his feet were sticking up, and I felt his feet, and I've never felt something so cold. But it's a time when I'm realising this selfie thing is actually, if you took away the E and put back the S and the H, you've got selfish rather than selfie, from there. And it's just
so
allowing...
I think the kind of like care of your neighbours and our care and connection with others, like does that link to, each other's health? If they're talking about air pollution, we're talking about dust coming in through our windows, and if people are living alone, how do we know they're okay? Do you feel like you know anybody that, you think may need checking in on? Do we have anyone that you think our sense of community? So touching on that?
That is a big topic
Yeah.
that Junior has just brought up, and definitely, you know, it's something that has happened a lot. I think way more than the few news stories that come out would make you think. So
Hello, come join us. Would you like to come?
I have heard of that happen
join-
before, and I hope that it changes.
We're talking about being able to look after people and friends, family around you, and sometimes people are able to look after themselves when they're living on their own, and sometimes they're not. Do you know anybody that may be living on their own?
I think no.
No, you don't know anyone, because often lots of people can live in big families. Do you think that it's nicer to live with lots of people or to live on your own?
All the people is
All the people. Do we feel like we're moving? Do you know, moving? If we've seen change. Oh, thank you, Mikey.
But I mean, I think it's like one of those things, isn't it? It's like asking people if they've got anything they want to keep secret. That you're not necessarily going to get the answer, because those people that don't come out and they do live on their own are maybe not here, and it's always a big question. I know there's actually in this area there's actually a lot of people that live on their own that don't necessarily connect with other people, but it's quite a tough challenge to work out how to connect them when they're not connected.
So how to connect the unconnected, but yet some people sometimes, like Junior said, can feel connected online, but who do we know is connected online when not necessarily everyone has even Wi-Fi or an ability to access online? Are we putting in the right support systems? Are we connecting with the right people? Hang on, so we had multiple hands up here.
I'd like to make a book recommendation. We might be able to do some research for the exact title and author, but it's Eleanor Oliphant is all right or isn't all right. I can't quite remember the author of that book. Eleanor Oliphant.
Can you go there? Yeah. Can we get a final thought from you before you go? Any thoughts before you go?
I like to do a place where the children plays, place where the big people can go and have fun, and then I like to paint a big school for London, for the people, for the children to learn schools, and a very big push to swim, and I like to paint a big curve for all of my family.
Amazing. So a place for small people, a place for big grown-ups, a place where you can swim, and a place for everyone.
Yeah.
Final thought. That's a brilliant final thought. Thank you very much. Sorry, so Eleanor Oliphant, Everything is Completely Fine. It's a book about social isolation and what it's like to be alone. Sorry, and remind me your name again, sorry?
Mel. I just want to say, if you can't get the person online, try to get their phone number or just try to contact them.
Yeah, what to do if you can't get hold of someone? What is the best method? Sorry, you said something as well. You're going to say something?
I was actually thinking about my neighbor who lives on the other side of the street.
How do you get hold of someone if you
we can
can't
actually
find them?
see each other pretty well because our flats are on the same height, and so during the pandemic, I think because it was more of the topic of isolation, I actually thought like, hey, why shouldn't I get in touch with this neighbor who I like? Of course, we knew like, hey, my name is, and then we started to do little catch-ups, and we still do that. But I think it's sometimes hard also because as it's my neighbor and I see him pretty often, he then told me about his own life story, and I think it's hard, and this is maybe also something which you don't want to say. It's hard for me to not get in touch with him if I don't want to get in touch with him. You know what I mean? Like I like to have these catch-ups, but couldn't. Sometimes I feel like harsh if I was like, I don't want to do it right now, or like I'm not in the mood.
That's the thing. It's a kind of funny social situation that we're in at the moment. Of like, when is it intruding? When is it support? How do we find that right ground and the balance of being able to check in with the people that need it? Maybe people don't need it. Also, there's different cultural differences around what people would prefer and how they prefer to exist. Does anybody find any differences in the way that they prefer to? Are we introverted? Are we extroverted? Some people want it more. Any differences in?
Personally, myself, until I took part in the Paralympics, when I did perform at the ceremony, but I also worked at wheelchair tennis. and it took 40 minutes. You stay there and don't move. It took 40 minutes to get to wheelchair tennis. But in that time, there wasn't a top that said Botswana or Ukraine or any other nationality. Yeah, from there. And I sat there thinking, well, that's a no-brainer. You've got all these people coming from different countries, yet you've got nothing to do with them.
Yeah.
And I think we need to do away with that.
Do away with separation?
Yeah. Like, people live around in the same neighbourhoods, in the same building even, as if they're nothing to do with each other, just because they come from a different...
A final thought, Mal.
Just to help out the community in White City.
Help out the community in White City. Amazing, thank you. Amazing.
People live around in buildings, whether they come from different languages and so on like this, but they seem to have this thing that nothing to do with each other.
Nothing to do with each other.
There. And when I worked during the games and come back and saw that it was nothing to do with countries and everything, I actually went and designed something myself and ended up doing something to do with every nationality that takes part in the Olympics. And from when I did that, I found myself, I was able to go and talk to other people no matter where they came from. And they were surprised that, wow, you know so much about my country, or you have something to do with my country. From there, then I started to design letterings. And you have to see them, because what's happened with these letters is that when I did them, it's actually part of a poem. I write my own typesets, create my own typeset, a bit like calligraphy. But one was, it had a letter, but it had a hat on, a face, arms, legs. So it had people within these letters. And one day I was in a day centre, and I was learning how to say cześć. How do you say hello in Polish? How do you say hello in Bulgarian?
So it's this ability to connect with different cultures, bringing cultures together. And how do we do that? Do we think it's done especially well in Hammersmith and Fulham, being able to bring cultures together? Yes, Mikey?
No, I'm just agreeing with that sort of sentiment. I do like to, whenever, some people don't, I always like to say, if I hear a different accent, I like to say, where are you from? And also know a few words in each language, like Czech.
Yeah.
Or kaksi in Bulgarian.
How many do we do you feel like that's what's needed to bridge the gap, is to say hello?
Well, I think the issue here is sometimes, okay, maybe we don't know that much about Islam or about Christianity but we're a little bit afraid to ask because we don't want to look stupid or insensitive to their cultural norms. But I think just go for it. Just kind of, you might get it a bit wrong, but just ask people about it.
It's okay to ask. So I guess if we're talking about asking people, about their cultures, the different ways that we live, what do we think about just the places that we live? If we think bringing it back to what we think about are in our homes, what we think about each other's cultures, the things that, what is an intrusive question to ask? What is not an intrusive question to ask?
I will come back to my neighbor John. I hope he is not here. I kind of saw that something might go on in his life, but I didn't know how to ask. Hey, kind of the more deep, how are you?
Yeah.
Not the superficial one. And then I invited him to, what did I invite him? I don't remember, but I invited him, to a show last year. And then I wrote him a letter because, I knew where he is living because it's my neighbor. And then he told me, no, I can't come because, I have cancer. And then I was like, oh, okay, now I know what's kind of going on. And I think it's hard, to not ask the wrong questions or to know which are the right or wrong questions.
Yeah, it's not an easy task to navigate, how to interact with someone you don't know, how to support them. Do we think that's done well? How do we feel our attitudes are in Hammersmith and Fulham?
I think what Mikey was saying about, speaking a few words in the language and what you were doing, I think that's really good, and that's what people should aim for, but I think you have to be very confident to do that, and I think most people nowadays are very unconfident, and everyone gets offended so easily and so quickly. So actually the general cultural norm is that no one really dares to say anything, and I think the perfect like illustration, let's say wide illustration of that, is in the new WhatsApp policy that's coming out, where WhatsApp have realized that they need to make sure that like exiting a group is now hidden. So before people could exit a WhatsApp group and it would show, and apparently people are not daring to exit groups. And so now WhatsApp is going to make that a hidden feature. And that illustrates how people don't really communicate and say something for fear of causing offence.
So you've got to be confident in to connect with people. Tech is changing the systems and the way that we interact so that we can be confident enough to be able to say, hi, how are you? Like, do we have the confidence to do that? Or do we do it better online? How do we find living with each other? What about our environments that we live in? Any thoughts? Let's take it the way that you want to go.
I would like to. I totally agree on the fact. I think that, I'm speaking from my own experience. Like, sometimes I don't dare to ask something, or because I think it's political might not be correct. And there is this question: where are you from? For example, I'm from Austria, and I don't have any problem like someone asking me, "Hey, where are you from?" because you have an accent or whatever, or you look different. But I can also understand that for other people it might be a problem because there is maybe another second degree sometimes from people asking, and I think like kind of the intention, people can feel the intention, and until I lived the experience where kind of someone was like, no, you can't be from this country, you have to be from somewhere else. I thought like, okay, now I understood why people are saying this question, where are you from, can be difficult, but I think it's more about the intention, not about the question. Yeah,
so we've got to think about like when we're trying to reach out to other people, if your intentions are good, maybe you don't need to worry about it so much if you know that you're not being malicious. Like, but what is a bad intention? What's the problem if you ask with someone and is the bad intention? Can you explain where people may not want people?
Well, I think people can get the wrong end of the stick, but also, some people often ask me, especially when somebody, I think because I like to speak Turkish, when I go into kebab shops, people often say, where are you from? And I say, I'm from Hackney. And they say, yeah, but where are you really from? and I'm like, I'm from Hackney.
Great. So where are you really from? Anyone at the table? Anyone, where are you really from?
They have a thing, Mibanya, but Minaanya. Yeah? So I'm born here, but I'm not on here. I come from somewhere else.
I'm born here, but I'm not on here.
My parents come from Jamaica. I'm more Jamaican, than English. So in that sense, and when I was related to something earlier on about letters, what I did is, you come from Austria. I give you Botswana. Botswana gets Austria. So I design these letters. They spell out these country names, and someone else from a different country has to go and learn about the other country. They have to go and get images to put in that picture, that depicts what they've found out about that country.
So we're just going to say hi to the new person at the table. What's your name?
Tommy Dees.
Say that one more time.
Tommy Dees.
Tommy Dees? Okay, I'm Lucy. We're going to go around and do one more round of names. We're going to go back to the
Mikey.
conversation.
Timna.
Mathilde.
Tommy Dees.
Junior.
Sorry, and hi everyone. And sorry, Junior was in the middle of saying, if we're talking about learning about other people, other countries, what's the best way to make sure everyone feels included?
Right. I was saying this to somebody 2 days ago, and he said, after he finished, he said, what I said should actually be in schools, because there's not a way where we actually interact and learn about each other from there, and kind of blow away all the negatives from there, because you learn negatives about a country, you learn positives about a country, but which one do you actually stick to?
So maybe Timides might be able to tell us, how do you learn about other people and other cultures at school at the moment?
Sorry, I am speaking Russian.
That's all I know in Russian.
Привет, как дела?
Yeah. Are you on holiday or do you live here?
No, we go here on the holiday.
Oh, you're on holiday. Great. Your English is good.
So I'm speaking.
So speaking good. What is school like in Russia?
Here. Arc school.
Oh, you go to school here?
Yeah.
Ah.
Arc school, big school.
Arc Burlington Danes? No.
Here.
Here.
Phoenix.
Yeah. Phoenix.
Arc Phoenix. Arc Phoenix.
Arc Phoenix, amazing. And do you learn, how have you been finding learning about UK culture?
I am start going.
You're going to start going there. Oh, so you're starting to live here?
Now we going. My daddy work here.
Okay. And have you found, we're talking about learning about other cultures and ways we can learn about other cultures. How have you found learning about English culture? Anything different?
Yeah.
What's the most different thing?
One friend.
One friend?
Yeah.
You've got one friend. Amazing. Well done. Go on.
Do people know about Russia? Then are you from Russia actually? You from? Where are you from? Really?
Tajikistan.
Tajikistan. Do people know about Tajikistan?
Do people know about Tajikistan?
I am speaking Russian and Farsi.
Farsi. Do you know about Farsi?
I have in Austria. I used to work with refugees from Afghanistan and from Iran, and they speak mostly Farsi and Dari. Yeah. Yeah. So. Yeah. So
you were talking about ways we can learn about other cultures, learning to speak a language. Is it difficult? Have we made one friend, more than one friend? Making friends? Do we like to make friends?
Can you tell me one thing about Tajikistan? I don't know anything about Tajikistan.
Tajikistan. How do you say it?
Tajikistan.
Tajikistan.
J.
With a J.
Yeah.
Tajikistan. What do you like about Tajikistan?
Here on the Tajikistan have Hulk and Madagascar and cake shop.
Cake shop, Hulk and Madagascar. Madagascar, the animal film.
Madagascar.
Yeah. The film.
It is very big.
The island.
Yeah, see on TV and everything.
And playing and cakes and.
And cakes and playing.
Yeah, and playing Happy Birthday can hear and very happy program.
Very happy program.
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. Those are your favourite programs. Awesome. What are everyone else's favourite programs? What do we like to watch here? Maybe there's some overlap. You like to watch The Hulk, Madagascar?
I don't watch TV.
Doesn't watch
No.
TV.
Have you ever seen Sesame Street?
Sesame Street.
No TV, no movies, no streaming, nothing on a screen, or
Nothing on a screen. Mikey, are you screen free? Are you truly screen free?
No, I have to say. I was for a while, but then I got, the pandemic happened and I started watching Netflix and YouTube and Mubi. So I'm actually...
This is your brother. Hello, come join us. Come join us at the table. What's your name?
Abdullah.
Get shy.
No.
We're going home.
You do have a last thought to give us, final thought?
We're going home.
You're going home. Okay, is that your final thought? Thank you, bye.
That was good though.
So, screen.
About how far is Tajikistan from somewhere like Turkmenistan?
How far is Turkmenistan from Tajikistan?
Those terms or countries are not in our mouth. Yeah. You understand me from there, so it's good when you can exchange. I think we used to enjoy it when we was young at school and everything, but there's not so much pinned on it. There's just so much going on. But I just think that personally myself, if you learn about other countries, you also learn about mannerisms. People talk about people who come over here and they don't get on because they don't know each other's mannerisms. Yeah, they don't get taught, well, over England this is how they say this or this is how they do that and so on like that.
Would you like to come join us? Do you know much about, what's your favourite mannerism? Falling over. How do you like to learn about other people? What's your favourite question to ask someone new?
Do you think there should be mobility scooters?
Do you think there should be mobility scooters?
in the park, in like park events, because sometimes
Take a break.
it's difficult getting round.
Take a seat, come join us.
More some places to sit.
Sorry?
Because it don't seem as if there's enough
Do you want to?
places.
What's your name? Come join us.
Sheila.
What's your name? Sheila? Sheila, we're going to do a round of names. We're going to do a round of names.
I'm Timna.
Timna.
I'm Mathilde.
Mathilde.
Sheila.
Sheila.
Junior.
Junior.
Mikey.
Mikey. Hello, and I'm Lucy, and this is a pop-up talk show where the things that we talk about, the focus of our talk show is what you want to talk about. So we've talked about air pollution, we've talked about how can we support others, how are people living alone, are they unsupported, how can we better support people. Sometimes we feel afraid to support people, to ask the right questions. It's quite difficult. You don't get a chance to be on your own. Do you have a good support network? Sorry. Do you have a good support network,
Yeah.
Sheila?
Yes. Would you like to spend more time alone, perhaps?
Well, it's on and off. I do spend time on my own, which I love. I really do.
So rare commodity.
Sometimes it's just go away, go home.
When you're at home, what do? Do you spend your time?
Watching telly, doing me crosswords.
Okay.
Hello, come join us. What do you like to do to find some peace? Do you get solo
find
time?
the
Do you ever
lockdown?
get time on your own?
During lockdown, how did you find it?
Come join us. We're having a chat.
Because as I said, it's on and off, isn't it? You're on your own. You have people round. You have.
No. I spend a lot of time. Like the last 36 hours, I spent alone. I didn't go out once. But I didn't kind of sit there feeling sorry for myself. I'm very, very fortunate that I'm an artist and I write poetry as well as design things, use tools of disabled people as well. My thing is really is how we disable each other. And
How we disable each other.
how we disable each other and how we allow ourselves to be disabled. I'm born with a disability myself, and so my own experience has been through that.
Come sit down here. We're just having a chat about how we support each other. Do we not?
I've got you in a run next week. Yeah, I've got you in a run next week. Yeah?
How does Sheila, who has a large support network, maybe feel about those who don't receive many visits or who don't have many people who come see them and who spend a lot of time alone?
Well, I don't know, because a lot of people that I know that are on their own, then they won't be on their own because I'll go and annoy them.
So it sounds like you've got a nice sense of community. Is there a good sense of community where you live? What do you think the kind of core element of why you have a good sense of community where you live? What do you think
I
the
think
reason
it's
for that is?
neighbours. I still think it's just neighbours,
Really good
really. The
support
neighbours.
neighbours.
Yeah.
Do you rely on each other for different things, or?
Well, not so much that. It's just the fact that they're there. You know, it's.
There are some.
Are most of your neighbours like English or
Nationalities: Muslim, West Indian, Polish.
And they were all there, and
because I live in Fritfield Gardens, just there, and it's
and everyone's happy to support each other, because I think we were talking that sometimes people can feel quite isolated, and it sounds like possibly that is a relatively unique situation where there is still a good sense of community and communication between neighbours.
But me, I'll talk to anyone. I don't care. I'll get involved. I don't care.
What's the secret?
Oh, you just introduce yourself and start chatting to people. How are you? Hello, are you all right? Do you need anything? Blah, 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 you know.
Amazing. So it's just an ability to keep talking, keep chatting. So if would you like to come join us? Please, come take a seat. What's your name? Woo! Would you like to come join us? What do you think the secret is to good community?
What?
What do you think the secret is to good community?
The secret, when I get a prize, I'm not talking for nothing.
That's the benefit. We're saying why do you talk to people? Do you have a reason why you want to talk to people? No.
I want to learn more about the community. Because I met this young man that's very interesting. What's your name is?
Junior.
I met Junior sometime, and it was so interesting. I know him for years, but we never actually spoke. Until one day we met in the laundry or somewhere, and really had a good
really good conversation.
chat. Yes.
Come take a seat. Come join us. Come have a good chat.
Talk to people. Any.
My mum.
Yeah.
I think there's something there where we don't look at each other anymore like that could be my mum, that could be my sister, that could be my relative, and that one comes from a different country. They're nothing to do with me. And a perfect point that she just made up there. There was actually 2 Polish children at a time when black people were going around saying, the Polish people are getting the jobs and so on like that, the Bulgarians and so on like that. But it was actually 2 Polish children that allowed me to have a street party, or enabled me to think about having one, because I thought, well, hang on, neighbours are not speaking to each other. They don't come out. They live in the same building.
Do you have a final thought, Sheila? Sheila, if you're going to go, one final thought. Come on.
I'm going to go. I think that's
Final thought. Sense of community, Sheila.
That's me thought. I'm going to go.
What's the secret though? Because you're talking
I
about.
I can't stand too long. This is the thing.
Come sit.
I can't sit down too long. I've got this.
I think we should talk. We should talk.
What do you want to talk about?
We should talk more.
We should talk more. Talk more about what?
That's like,
everything.
I mean, sometimes somebody have a frown. When you say hello, then you get a smile. And you know what I mean? They just
I know, that's the thing, is that is the fact that we don't. So Sheila said that she's supported and she has a lot of people that do talk to her, and I said that seems different.
I mean, even a smile.
Give us talk and maybe smile is the secret to connection.
I totally agree on what you've just mentioned, and I think I mean, this might be a bit like outdated for a lot of people, but I think when you move into a new flat, I think you don't have to introduce you maybe to all of the people in the whole building, but maybe the neighbors which are on the same floor, and just the fact by saying hi, I just moved in, it changes so much, I think, and I think not a lot of people do that anymore, which is pretty interesting.
People just going to say hello, and also we didn't get names, so we're going to do a round of names. We've got Junior, we've got.
My name is Sarah.
Sarah.
Decca. And thank you, Emma.
Sarah, what's your final thought?
Give us 5 minutes, because I feel like you've got so much.
Oh no, because I live in the area over 50 years.
Yeah, so come on.
And you know,
you would have a lot of history.
Yes,
if someone came to you and said, look, there's not a lot of history being put out here, someone could come to you and say, right, how much history do you know about the place? Were you here in such and such a time, like, I'm not going to say 1934, otherwise I might get slapped, like, but were you here when certain things were going on? How do children actually reenact things, or how do they celebrate their area? Like, and when they come from different areas, if we're not actually going to get to know about what they celebrate.
Well, my granddaughter is here at the moment. She's doing lipsticks, cosmetics, so I'm going searching for her. She lives in the area. Crystal is 21 and she's been living in the area for 21 years.
So I guess the question, if you've been living here for a long time, it's changed a lot. We've heard earlier from the table, it's changed a lot. The buildings have changed.
No,
There's a lot,
people has changed. Most of the Caribbean people move out. You come to White City, you don't see maybe 2 Caribbean people. Everybody has gone back to the Caribbean.
The people have changed. Do you think there's there's a lot of talk sometimes around this table about air pollution? Do you think there's been a change in the pollution around here?
Yeah, I live in Goldhawk Road. I used to live in I live in Goldhawk Road. I don't know about pollution.
Don't know what pollution is?
No, well, I hear they talk about it. About people that breathe. But I think people should open their window and get fresh air in and walk in the park and get exercise.
Get exercise. Just go out and get exercise. What are people talking about when they're talking about air pollution?
Anyway, you can keep me all day. I have to go to my granddaughter.
Okay. So a final thought.
We have to talk more and smile more.
Yes, amazing. Talk more and smile more.
Young man, I will take a video.
Fabulous. So we've got to check in with each other a lot more. We've got to talk more. We've got to smile more. People talk about air pollution. Some people know what it is. Some people don't know what it is. Where do we want to go with this?
Just because you mentioned air pollution and getting in touch with other people, I think it's already 2 years ago, it was, in 2020, when I actually don't know this person, but someone in my street started to get in touch with someone from the council and had the idea of getting some trees in our street, because we didn't have any trees in our street, and now we have 4 trees, little ones, but I think like in 20 years, like they will give a lot of shade, which is great.
How are the trees doing in the drought at the moment?
Not good, but they have a sign which says please water it, and I try my best to water the one which is just in front of my house.
Would you like to come join us? How do you think the trees are doing in the drought at the moment? Oh, hello. Hi, come join us.
I just came to ask what it is.
So we are a pop-up talk show and we talk about what you want to talk about. Final thought.
Yeah, well, I think we should have more of all those things that you just said and more face painting as well.
Great, amazing. So when someone joins and we'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. We're just here to have a chat. So at the moment we've been talking about air pollution. Are we supported in our environments? Do we support each other? What happens if someone's alone? If we want to find out about each other, is it racist to ask about someone's culture? How do we say the right thing? Then
Where is it?
we go wherever. Oh, where's the record? This isn't live streamed. I think we have a copy we're with the WellHome team. I think they get a copy of the recording, but the recording, where's the recording going?
In your inbox. I think we'll probably look at it first before we put it out.
Where would it be going?
Where do you guys usually put it?
There's our card.
Thank you.
Or W12. Go to the W12 site. So there's a W12 site.
The actual
W12
website.
Together. There's a W12 Together site. So
Next door.
No, it's on Facebook. It's actually on Facebook. On the internet, there's a W12 site, and a lot of people are putting things on there, including asking me to go on there so I can tell everybody about what I do and how they can get involved as well. Yeah, from there.
Would you want to come join us? Tell us about.
Just rushing off somewhere, but I always like talking to people.
Well, this is the occasion for you.
Can I ask you a question quickly then?
But I haven't got time right now. Whoa!
Okay. Can I ask you Can I ask you a question quickly? Because something that I'm interested in doing is where people were stuck at home wondering what to do with themselves and something like that. I'm very arty, creative, and people have asked me to start teaching people how to do crystals onto garments. Yeah, like diamante and everything, because they found it therapeutic, but it also gave them something to do and something to think of in their mind. Oh, what can I create and something like that. Would you be interested in something like that?
Well, I'm working anyway, so...
So when you're not working, or there was
I'm not working, I'd like to have some kind of... when I'm not at work, which I am 9 till 6 and beyond, I'd like something in the community to
come join us. We're just chatting about this is pop-up talk show. We can talk about whatever you want to talk about. We're talking about air pollution, we're talking about the environment, we're talking about connecting with each other. What do you want to talk about? Talk about what you learn about
what I really want to do? I want to find a game group. So a game group where a local thing where people get together and play Scrabble or chess, something that's just walking distance from here because I live nearby. So
would you like a game group?
A game group.
What games would you like to play? Would you like to play a game group?
But not children, obviously. But if it's me, then I want Scrabble, Boggle,
Articulate?
Chess, Articulate, things that just connect you to people.
Want to be connected with others. So the main way that you've targeted, we've saying what's the secret? Some people have said smile more, talk more, play games more. That's the suggestion. Yes, Timna?
I think if we might all have your face painting, we would be ask people, hey, that looks interesting. Why do you have that? I think we should think about the fact that adults don't get face paintings anymore. And
But I think disruptors. Maybe we need to be doing things that you normally would associate with being we need to play more. We need to have fun more.
And I'm saying for the big people, they have to play and have fun and go everywhere, like another countries, another village, like the forest, to have fun every time with the children and with the elders.
So in what everything a grown-up does, they should be having fun. Yeah. Yes, amazing. Do you have a final thought? Your last, before you go, we take a final thought.
No, just that it would be nice to have a local community group that gets together for coffee, games, whatever.
Let's get a local community group for coffee and games. Let's get that conversation. So we've been talking about ways we can connect with others. Do you want to play games more? You need to disrupt and do things that grown-ups do.
I like to play games like princess games, like Among Us, and more.
All of these different games. You want to be playing them. Why aren't you playing them? Do you want to come join us?
Huh?
Talking about ways to have fun and play as an adult. What's your top tip to play as an adult? Or play as a baby?
We used to do get a sack, get some potatoes, run after or carry eggs and so on like this, and I have an egg spoon race or sack race with the potatoes and so on like this. But I have a book at home. It's 1,000 games for children, adults, and teenagers. One day I'd love to come out in a park where you choose a game that you want to play. Yeah, right there. All over the park, there are different games that people can play. My favourite one I would love to do in a park, because you can roll it out to all these parks. Get this on your camera, please, because this is something that you can hear Calypso right now. But if you could do a limbo, there was a limbo all over the country. Limbo in the park. Would you get involved?
Limbo in the park.
Limbo in the park.
Do we want to be playing Limbo in the park? How many times a year would you want to play Limbo in the park?
I would do every summer, Limbo in the park.
Every summer,
spring,
Limbo.
Limbo in the park.
Do you know what Limbo is?
Yeah.
Do you know what? Have you played Limbo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when I go into the places, I like to take my family and my dad and my sisters and my friends to go another place to have fun. So when I go into back, I like to play so many games.
Yeah.
And I want to play with my mom, with my dad, and I like all the people to play.
Can talk. Would you like to talk? Oh, you don't like loud noises?
Yeah.
Okay. Would you like to join us? Talking about game. What's your favourite game to play? What's your favourite game? Do you want to come join? My name's Lucy. What's your name?
Elma.
One more time. What's your name?
Elma.
Elma. Elma, what's your favourite game to play?
Trampoline.
Trampoline. So trampoline. So we want Scrabble. We want trampolines. Would you like to come join us? What's your favourite game, Guinness guys? If you've got a favourite game, would you like to come join us? Come join us. So we're going to do a round of names. Yeah. We can. You sure? Go on. I think give it a try. What's your name?
My name is Monica.
Monica, come join us. We're talking about things that can make us connect together and have fun. What type of thing? What do you do if you want to have fun? What do you do to have fun?
Usually walking in the park, around the park.
Walking in the park and around the park. And so do we, what is it about the park?
Spending time with children.
Spend time with children. That helps for you, doesn't it, to have fun? If someone's helping you have fun. You guys coming and joining? What about it being in the park? You know, there's kind of a talk about air pollution in the park. And do you think that there's air pollution more in the parks or at home?
No, actually in the park it's much better.
In the park it's much better.
We're cleaning too, we're keeping our houses clean.
The dog mess. Like, do you see a lot of dog mess around the park that you have to keep your children away from? Are you seeing it?
Actually this park, this is the closest one that I have here. It's a bit too small, I think.
It's too small?
Yeah.
What is it too small? There's not enough room to walk. There's not enough room to play.
To walk. So there are also dogs and.
Would you like to come join us?
Okay. And children are getting scared. My children especially. I'm talking for them.
Would you like to come join us?
Scared.
Sir, how do you have fun?
I'm all right. Do you think this park is too small? That's what was Bear saying. Would you like it to be bigger? Okay. Yeah.
How about rubbish and pollution?
Yeah, the rubbish that's in parks. I don't know. I think people have let themselves go more than before COVID. Because
let themselves go in what sense?
Yeah, because everybody wants to come out. So kind of there's a level of ignorance, or I don't want to be stuck indoors anymore. And you ain't going to tell me to stick indoors, especially if you've been going out telling everybody to stay in, talking about politicians, been going out telling everybody to stay in while they've been going doing what they want. Now, if the politician turn around and say, oh, it's winter, we're going to have another lockdown, I could see an element of people that say, right, you know what, you're on your own, Mr. Politician, I'm going out. Straight, like that. There's that to deal with during the winter as well.
So there's a greater sense of wanting to be outside. Whether it's our right to be outside, we feel it's safer for our health to be outside. Which way do we want to, what do you want to talk about here? Did you say you had a game you wanted to play?
The game, unfortunately, the game that I play on my off time is what climate activism can I do when I'm not working? I'd be interested to know, is anyone else concerned about the environment and anxious and just thinking in my spare time I should be like trying to take down the government or, you know?
Have you heard about have you heard of climate change?
I've heard the trampoline was really big.
There's a really big trampoline?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can we like bounce up and down on our ideas for climate?
Trampolines would be a good way of getting people's attention, though. You are right. People would look at us.
We could have ideas about climate change and a trampoline.
Personally, myself, I think the damage is done already.
For the climate?
Yeah. I absolutely believe the damage is done already. Look, we've got conker trees growing already. Yeah? And when do you see conker trees growing before June? Yeah?
Yeah.
You see conker trees growing. You see people.
Oh yeah.
Like if you look at fly tipping.
We've got a new name at the table. I'm just going to take a name. What's your name? Sorry.
Francilia.
Francine. Hi, I'm Lucy, and this is Talkaoke, the pop-up talk show where we talk about what you want to talk about.
We're just talking about climate change and everything, and I just see that there are so many people that don't care. And sometimes it's just, there's certain subjects that you use around voting, around politics and so on like that, and they're fronted in your face as if people care. There are people that don't care.
Yeah.
They're the same ones that have been buying up lands and ripping up lands, and people have lost their places to live and so on like this, where they're fighting people that don't care. And all you get climate change this, climate change that. Well, actually, what are they doing?
You're going to go. So there's lots of people don't seem to care about climate change. You've got to go. Do you have a final thoughts? Sir, would you like to come join us? Ask. We're just talking about how we feel about the climate, like how we can have fun, different ways that we can talk to each other and connect with each other. Do you have any tips on how to connect with each other as a person that walks in the community? What's the most heartening thing you see in the community?
How to what? Sorry?
What's the best thing you've seen in the community as you've been walking around? What's something to share from your trip around?
I've just left the office, so I think this thing here at the park today is the best thing I've seen around.
So far today.
Yeah.
So something like this today. And so we've just been talking about, does this make you think about if you're in the park, this park maybe, is it too big, is it too small, is it just the right size? We've been talking about lots of different things today.
I lived in this area all my whole life, so I've been coming here for about 45 years, and I've always loved this park. It's not too big, it's not too small.
It's a Goldilocks park.
It's lovely. I mean, it used to be nice when you used to have the White City pools there, but as a park, it's great. It's got something for everyone.
And so what is the most ideal, what makes for an ideal park?
Something for everyone.
But what does that include? Who is everyone and what do they want?
It's a nice round route for runners in the morning, people taking their dogs out, people with their kids.
Come join us. You'd like to come join us? We're just talking about the park. Is it too big? Do you think it's too small? What makes a good park for you? What's your name and what's a good park for you?
Laura.
Come take a seat. What's your... We need your opinion. We want everyone's opinions here.
Yeah, I'd say... I don't know. Parks are always good. Something to do where you've got a big space, somewhere with the you can take the kids.
Big space, somewhere to take the kids, especially with a tiny one.
Yeah, it's
good amount of space.
To walk around and things like that with like little ones.
Yeah, ability to get out.
Around here with like crime in the park or anything?
I don't really know round here that well. I mean, we kind of come over to see Mum.
Okay, so where are you based normally?
Carshalton.
Carshalton.
Around there, there's quite a lot of you get quite a lot of crime in pubs and stuff like that. Especially, thank you. Especially when it comes to drugs, I think that's where it's mainly the baddest bit.
Yeah.
It's because they feel a lot of people that do drugs and things like that feel it's okay to do it within a park where children are, and I don't agree with that personally. But
Yeah.
Each to their own, I guess.
Park is not a space necessarily. Sometimes the parks can be used for the wrong reasons rather than the right reasons. Do we feel like the reasons it's used wrongly are more than the right reasons? Esther's had something to say.
Well, I think I mean I live in such a small house that the parks are so important to me. Like, and I have to go out. Like, I'm quite itchy at home. I go out like maybe 3 or 4 times a day. I'm on my bike, I'm walking, or I'm like. So they're really important because at home it's just like tiny and really cramped and like quite stuffy. I don't know what other people's homes are like round here.
What are your homes like? Are the parks really important to you? If they weren't here, would you mind? Would you care? Would you notice? How do you find the parks? Is it important to you to walk through when you're on a round, when you're walking around? How important are the parks to you?
Parks are important.
Thank you.
Do you have a final thought before you go?
Just what I said. Yeah, nothing else to it. Thank you.
Parks are used for the right and the wrong reasons. Did you have something to say, Mikey?
Well, I mean, earlier on, I think it was you were talking about, and this might be of interest to you, all the drinking and drug taking in the Shepherd's Bush Park Green. But to me, there's also a positive side to that because people need somewhere to go. Okay, they've got problems, but at least they're in that one place in a way, so you can see what's going on. And okay, there's a right and a wrong side of it, but it's just the society we've got.
We shouldn't get rid of it. It's just how it is. That's how it is.
I'm glad you said that word, just how it is, because that's a big problem. People accepting things just how it is and not trying to change it. Yeah, from there. And like for me, I used to go to crime summits and even used to get my picture taken in the Hammersmith Gazette and so on. But I just think it's an area we don't really talk about a lot. And if
an area in that, like, how to change things.
Yeah. You think you've got a big park here and everything. I suppose there's nothing really to attract the youths. Those that you think like would normally be giving out trouble and so on like that. It's pretty quiet. There's no big bass line going on. So there's certain element of people that are not included here. Yeah, from there. But if you can include them and get them involved, isn't it better to give them something to do rather than for them to feel like they've got nothing to do or they can't get involved?
So
or
making
this
sure there are
isn't for them?
provisions in the park for everyone to have something to do in the park. What is everything for everyone? How can we break that down? What does that look like in a park? Is it possible to get that all done in a park?
I think I don't have an answer to that question, but I think just what you've mentioned with, let's say, drinking in a park. When I was as a teenager, I grew up in a little town with like 15,000 inhabitants, and there were not that many things to do. But what did we do as teenagers? We went to a park and got drunk, more or less. And I totally understand that annoyed all of the neighbors in the surroundings. I think it would annoy me now too if there would be teenagers like shouting the entire night, drunk around. But it's like, give them a place where they could express themselves and maybe get other possibilities than getting drunk.
What is the place? Where could we put it? Would we put it in this park? Is it something that we make out of the park? Is it a separate building? What do we do?
We have a place called Victoria House. Mm-hmm. It sits there and only gets used for wedding receptions and anything like that. And it sits on an estate. And when I look at this building, I'm thinking about, well, hang on, how do the local people get to use this building? And I've tried to find out who actually owns a building, and you don't seem to be able to find out who owns a building. Now, when the complaint from youths is that we've got no clubs or clubs to go to or activities for us, you've got a park here, and if I could, I would put something based in this park permanently where they can come somewhere and do activities and get involved and involve younger than them.
Yeah. So you involve them in the planning process of it. Yes. What do you think? Sorry, I don't think we've done names actually. What's your name, sorry?
Zed.
Zed? Zed?
Oh, you Junior.
Zed? Junior.
Mikey.
I'm Lucy and this is
Timna.
Amazing. This is Talkaoke, the pop-up talk show where we're going to talk about what you want to talk about.
I was going to say, as well as what's talk about every individual park is talking about what's around it. And I know what you're saying, Junior, the older teenagers and stuff like that. But up until the last couple of years with the White City redevelopment, the local youths around here have had that great White City adventure playground with the building there, and they've had lots of activities going on for teenagers, late teenagers. So it's only the last couple of years, probably around the same time that COVID hit, has kind of closed that off, and now it's they're looking to redevelop that. So they've got to bring something back in for those people. But this particular park, you look from there, and on this side you've got 3 local schools. You've got a primary school there, special educational needs schools there, and a secondary school right there as well. So it accommodates for for all those people, but you can only do it from the size that you've got. I mean, I was with my colleague, we were talking a year and a half ago about what we could do in this park. Something would be having, the kind of sports thing with sports equipment for training and stuff, but in the actual White City estate by the housing office, they really have that. So you don't want to duplicate stuff. You've got to be careful with the space that you've got.
I'm a bit different. I welcome what you said. I'm a bit different. I kind of I do scenarios, and one of my scenarios is about a box, and the box that you've been taught that everything in this box is for the rest of your life. It's to help you throughout your life. And then I got taught that, but one day I went to sleep and I saw all these other boxes, and then in my sleep I said, did you believe there was only one box? Well, what about all these other boxes?
Do you want to come join us?
So I'm looking at really, there are places that there were here, but how does a youth feel that it's no longer here? Yeah, what does it do to them? What do they do with their time? Yeah, from there, if they're turning around saying, well, you know what, I'm not really doing much with my time, or if I'm spending my time but I'm not making money, then that's a bit different. I want to make money, and there's not enough there to turn youths away from saying, look, you know what, I'm not going to sell crack cocaine or sell heroin because it's fast money. I want something with longevity, rather than the risk of getting locked up.
How do we provide opportunities for people? Would you like to come join us? Do you want to come sit? Come join us. How do we provide opportunities for people that need it? I think we were also talking about the difference in the new developments. There's kind of lots of changes that have happened over a long period of time. There's a lot of imperial colleges come in. How do we feel about big universities? How do we feel about big White City Westfield development? Like, do we feel good about that? Has that helped with opportunities? Has it in fact made it worse? Got big changes that have been happening.
I think the selfie generation has made things worse. It's about who am I with? Look at me, and picture from there, and put it on Instagram, and all these different units that's going on as well on the internet, which some people are just not interested in. Older brigades are not interested in, and then you got youngsters. If you could teach them to teach the older brigade how to use computers and so on like that, and just to get them more involved in doing something. They want
kind of intergenerational connection. That we need to harness what everyone has to bring. How do you think we can do that well? Bring all different generations together. Do you see different generations existing when you're kind of working and moving through parks and different public spaces, or do generations stay quite separate? Should we be working towards a different aim? Are we there already?
We have to be on the same page. There's a thing about being on the same page, and not everybody, like, one's over here, one's over there, one doesn't know what this one's doing, one doesn't know what that one's doing. You said about the 2 years whereby things were closed down and so on, so you have to take that into equation. You also have to take into equation what has the pandemic done to our youths. How did they cope with it?
What has the pandemic done to us? How have we changed? Mike, you had something you wanted to also say.
No, I think we in a way, all of this, we all live on the same planet. So we might be, the kids are they're actually not even on Instagram anymore. They're on TikTok, which I don't know. I obviously I haven't even looked at it, but we've got to get that TikTok generation talking to everyone's got to talk to each other. We all live in the same world, so we've got different values and different ways of communicating. Somehow there's got to be a translation.
How do we do that? We have so many differences, but what's the solution? We use different technology, we communicate in different ways, we are different ages. What is a uniting thing for us? How do we unite to communicate? What is the
I use a thing, I'm in the world of disability, and how do I get... My mission was about how do I get non-disabled people to learn about disability. So how do I get someone who doesn't want to know about something to want to learn about something? There's a youth that's not to do with me, man. What's that to do with me? I'm not interested in it. But how do I get him to turn around and say, actually, that is to do with me?
How did you? Have you done that?
Yeah,
What did you do?
What I did is when I tried to, I had a thing where how do I get non-disabled people to learn about disability? So I started to learn that I could use tools of disabled people, tools like Braille, sign language, something called Moon. If someone's both deaf and blind, it's the only way that they could read.
What is Moon?
To a point that I even developed products that I could bring to non-disabled people, and though it featured disability, they actually realised it was also about them. I'm going to pass something around, which is called Braille on Nails. When I did the Olympics, after the Olympics, Tokyo Olympics was on, and when Japan Olympics was on, I thought about if you were to design something to do with the Olympics, what would you design? And how would you include non-disabled people in the design? So I started to put writing above the Braille so that someone who's sighted could see it and, oh, you know what, that's quite a nice idea. I might get that on my nails, or they think of something that they want on their nails from there. So even in your park, there's nothing to do. Someone asked me, what would you do for women in the park? I'd bring nails to the park.
So you've kind of meshed different needs, different people, different wants.
Yeah.
And you've used it's about exposure to assistive technologies and assistive ways of living and learning to able-bodied, to neurotypical people.
I think that's very imaginative. I'm really, that's quite, I mean, not that I would put it on my nails because I would have to clean them first. Do you know what I mean? But I do think that is a very imaginative, is really nice kind of intervention to bring. I think you're absolutely right. People don't think about we've got a disabled guy that comes to Talkaoke quite a lot, where we're based in Poplar, and he's continually trying to get his perspectives into the design of stuff, because what he's saying is normally the adaptations people make to make his life easier doesn't just make his life easier, it makes everybody's life easier. So it's just about getting people to think about disability a bit more.
Hey, we're Talkaoke. We're a pop-up talk show where we talk about what you want to talk about. We're currently talking about... What's your final thought, Zed? Zed? Is that what you said?
Keep doing things like this. This is how we get to find out what people want.
This is how we find out what people want. What's your name?
Jeremiah.
Jeremiah, we're talking about how can we get people to see our way of thinking? How can we communicate? Come join us. Come sit. Do you want to join? What's your name?
What would you like to do?
Hi, what's your name?
Sapphire.
Sapphire, this is Talkaoke. Come join us. Do you want to come sit? We're talking about how we can bring everyone together. Talk about what you want to talk about. It's a pop-up talk show. We're going to go around and do names. What's your name? Osula?
Yeah.
Osula, nice to meet you. Jeremiah, Junior. And Mikey. And my name's Lucy. So we've been talking about loads of different stuff today. We've been talking about air pollution. We've been talking about how we can feel about community. Like we all exist on some people use TikTok, Instagram. Some people don't use it at all. How can we all be talking about the same thing? Junior was telling us about considering different, if you're neurodiverse or if you're disabled, and how you can get using the methods that you can bring other people into understanding about disability, you can use to just connect people in general. We've been talking about different games that we like to play. We're all up to whatever you want to talk about. Do you have any thoughts on what I've just mentioned, the list of any of the stuff? The rapid fire just took you through.
Have you got any disabled friends?
I guess one of my friends has autism, and sometimes it can be kind of hard for him because the way people are with him, he's not used to those type of environments, I guess. So you gotta be kind of I guess more careful with him, the words you say and all of that, I guess. Yeah, you gotta take it easy with him sometimes,
Yeah, being able to interact with people and understanding where they're coming from. Do you have any friends that have a disability?
Well, I don't know if this is about the school that I'm actually in, but there's nobody who is disabled of any kind.
So nobody that is dyslexic or has ADHD or...
Yeah, all stuff like that, but nobody who's disabled.
Nobody that's physically disabled. Can you leave? Yeah, you can leave if you want to. You can give us a final thought or any thoughts. Quick thought before you go.
Well, I think this thing is interesting, I guess.
Where are your parents from?
Afghanistan.
Okay, so then there's a lot of more Afghanistan people coming over here. Did you know that? Yeah, and that. Okay, so are you happy about that? You're gonna get more people you can talk to from your country and so on?
Yeah, I guess. But like lots of the people here aren't very close to my age group, so.
Do you want more people that are closer to you in age? Well, here we go. What's your name?
My name's Nevea.
Nevea?
My name is Jaden.
Jaden.
I'm Timna.
Osana.
Jeremiah. Junior.
Mikey.
And I'm Lucy, and this is the Talkaoke pop-up talk show, and we're here to talk about whatever you want to talk about. We're now talking about disabilities. Do you know anyone that has a disability?
My cousin. She's here right now. My cousin, she's here right now.
And do you find people are not necessarily respect the way that they see the world? Are they treated differently?
They were treated differently because she has autism.
How do you feel about that?
It's not a great feeling to feel because I see like normal people giving my cousin dirty looks on the roads.
Yeah.
It's not really nice.
That's not nice. Has anyone else experienced anything like that?
I have a really good friend of mine. She has, she's almost blind. I don't know how the disease is called, but she doesn't see normally. And what I found interesting is that I went to see a theater show with her, and she enjoyed it, and of course she couldn't see it the same way I could see, but there were things where you literally could see people who don't have a problem with their view didn't think about other people to read what's written. For example, in the end, they had a sign, and it was almost for a person who doesn't have a problem with their eyes to read. So she couldn't see actually the clue of the show, which was like, oh wow, that's actually not that cool.
So there's so much design where we just don't consider people who are disabled or are neurodiverse, and it's kind of all the time. Do we have any? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in the area of blind. Those are both deaf and blind, and those are deaf. And I don't know what it's like for you, but perhaps maybe one time when you go near the station, the Central Line station, and other areas, there's all these scooters and bikes that have appeared, and people sometimes just chuck them like, don't put them where they're supposed to be. Now, by Central Line, you've got where they sell the fruit, you've got the silver bollards, you've got people that walking through, plus you've got the bikes and the scooters. And if I could tell you about the person that I saw that fell into the bikes, and fortunately because it's my remit...
We're a pop-up talk show, and we're here to talk about whatever you want to talk about.
I was able to help him and see the danger for him, and actually, excuse me mate, because sometimes if we see a visually impaired person, how do we approach them? Yeah, we don't even know how to approach them. We think we just go and grab their arm, which is the wrong thing to do. But
what is the right thing to do?
The right thing is to use your voice. Yeah, excuse me. You ask somebody something. Excuse me. Do you need any help? Yeah, yep. From there, and he sees that she sees that there's someone there that's trying to help them. But what happened is once he's put out his arm and I've took him by the arm, I've asked him where is he going. He said he's going to a station and Basingstoke. So I've had to go and get someone, one of the attendants, to go and help him to get to where he's going. But my point is that because we don't learn about disability, how can we think about disability? How can we think about
disability? We have a similar conversation about culture. If you don't know about culture, is it rude to ask the questions? How do you learn about that information? We're seeing different things, and we're not sure how to interact. And if someone does something, is it rude if you try and help someone, but you do it in the wrong way? What is the best way to try and help someone? Do you know any other friends that have disabilities? How do you feel about people treating others? Yes, Timna.
I just know from the person you recently mentioned, John, and because I asked him last week actually, can I help you to take the coffee cup, and he was like, Timna, there was a long time I didn't ask for help when I needed it, but I now, with my lifetime experience, I would tell you if I would need something. And I think this is like the important thing. I think like we have to know how to ask, kind of, do you need help? But we also have to think about, they have to know how to ask for help. Yeah, I think
so
that's
it's kind of like a two-way thing. They need to want to be able to accept the help, but also need to be able to ask for it. We need to be able to know how to ask people for help. Would you like to come join us? And this is Talkaoke, a pop-up talk show. Come take a seat. We're currently talking about disabilities and how others are treated. Is this a world that we've made for people with disabilities? Come take a seat. What do you think? Do you have any friends with disabilities? It's okay. How about, are you guys going? Do you want to give us a final thought?
I think disability should be taught in schools to make more people aware.
What would you?
What does that mean, though?
What would you teach in schools?
I would teach the disabilities that you can't necessarily see.
So what are those?
Like,
hello.
Like not physical ones where you're in a wheelchair, like autism, ADHD, the hidden ones.
Hidden disabilities. Do you want to tell us more? Do you want to come sit? Tell us a bit more.
I gotta go.
You gotta go. Thank you. Hello. What's your name?
Hi, my name's Crystal.
Crystal. Hello. Hi, Crystal. We're going to do a round of names with a new person at the table. Crystal.
I'm Timna.
Timna.
Mikey.
Mikey.
Hi, I'm Toby.
Toby.
Junior.
All right, so we've been talking about disability. We can talk about anything, though. We've been talking about air pollution. Is this park too big? Is it too small? How do you get people to connect? Should you be able to ask people about their cultures? Should you ask for a word to say hello? What's the right way to approach people? What's the right way to deal with people with disabilities? And is it dealing with them? Are we accommodating enough for them? How do we... And is anyone here at the table that can speak for people with disabilities? What's their advice? We've got anywhere we can go. Well, what have you been doing today? How have you found being here?
Well, I've been on a store today with my own brand.
You've been at a store today. What is your own brand?
Crystal Cosmetics. Yeah.
Cosmetics?
Yeah. Then
lipstick. I think we had your grandma here.
Yeah. She said, come along. You guys are having a great conversation.
Brilliant.
So I said, okay, watch the store. I'm going to come see what you guys are talking about because it seems very interesting.
She's been here for 50 years. Amazing. And you've been here for
20 years.
20 years. And what are your thoughts on how the environment has changed, the park?
The park has changed, but it's definitely a central place for where people come to meet up and keep the community going, for everyone to keep connected, I think. Yeah.
And there's also, there's WellHome as well, which is an Imperial study. There's Imperial around
yeah, and it's changed a lot.
It's
nice to have Imperial here.
It's nice.
I've watched it being built.
That's the thing. Some people think it's outside their windows. They don't necessarily want to see that outside their windows. How do we feel? Lots of new developments as well.
I think it's great to have new developments. Create a lot of job opportunities for the community. Also having Imperial, having lots of links with the schools around the community, like Phoenix just being over there, Danes. It's great that they have a connection with Imperial, so more students will be going to Imperial, looking up to Imperial as definitely
great. So it's
an
a positive thing. And they've also been researching air pollution. So air pollution indoors, outdoors. Do you have any thoughts on air pollution indoors, outdoors?
Yeah, air pollution is very much real. There's no planet B. So it's great.
Do you think about that in terms of your cosmetics? Do you think about environmental responsibility?
Of course, because we're always leaving a carbon footprint wherever we go, and it's important that we look after our home, which is Earth. Earth is our home for everybody, and it's important that we look after it and make sure that climate change is not happening too much.
Amazing. So what should we be doing? What do you say again?
How long have you been doing your cosmetics?
2 years. 2 years, yeah.
2 years. Hello, and we're back. What's your name? My name's Lucy. What's your name? A little bit louder. Aoife? Aoife's been doing the camera marvellously. So we're just talking about how we can look after the planet, because we've only got one planet. That was a really great inspirational speech. We've only got one planet. We've got to be responsible for it. Do you have any tips on how we can...
Spider-Man said there's another universe.
Spider-Man said what, sorry, Aoife?
There's another universe.
So there's another universe. Well, maybe with Spider-Man, but can we get to that other universe? What should we be doing if we can't
I think
get
we
to
need to ask the scientists at Imperial whether it is actually possible to get to that other universe, because that might solve all of our environmental problems in one go. But we probably need to ask the people at Imperial about how possible that is.
How possible is getting to another universe? Timna, do you have the entryway, the key?
No, I don't have the key, and I'm not from Imperial, but I love your idea Aoife. I think it would be great to have like kind of a superhero, and every time we have a problem with the planet, we would like, hey, we have a superhero telling us how we can save the world, or actually the superhero can save the world. But maybe we are all superheroes. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe are we all superheroes? How we can save the planet? How we can make sustainable cosmetics? Like, what is our superpower here?
Our superpower is to do research, make sure that we're making sure that the earth is staying clean. Also putting ourselves out there, volunteering and things like that.
Amazing.
Making sure that we're not reusing our plastic bags. We don't have to keep buying new plastic bags all the time.
Amazing. I love that superhero does evidence-based research.
To some people, that superhero is God, and some people aren't listening to what God says. They don't believe in God, and so it's very hard, because when I look at, I don't see men that make clouds and make the sun shine and so on like this. So there's something else that's going on that men aren't listening to. I think men are.
Do you want to come join us? Talking about
a
if we were a
nuisance to
superpower.
themselves.
What superpower?
A nuisance to their planet, a nuisance to us, because they're trying to get us to believe in their false beliefs about what's going on with the earth and so on. We've been damaging this planet for so long, and it's a no-brainer really for us to sit there and think, yeah, it can go right, when we just damage it for so long. How can we put things back that we've already damaged? It doesn't make sense.
How can we put stuff back that we've already damaged? How can we respect the planet? How can we deal with air pollution? These are all topics that we've been talking about. How can we be responsible? How can we find our inner superpower? What is our superpower? If you were to have a superpower, what would it be?
To teleport.
To teleport?
Yeah.
Okay. What if you had a superpower? What would it be?
To summon stuff. To summon stuff.
Summon stuff. What type of stuff?
Swords and guns and stuff.
Swords and guns.
Yeah.
Swords and guns. And would you be using these for climate protection purposes?
Yes.
Yes. And
Because I can summon everything.
You'd summon everything. Okay.
Yeah.
So in a hypothetical climate protection situation, how would you use your summoning purposes to protect the planet?
I would call 10,000 people.
Summon rain when needed. Amazing. Summoning.
You could potentially summon dust to go into the stratosphere to shade the planet.
To shade? We think the dust would shade.
Yeah, dust would shade the planet. Yeah, it's
That's
happened
what the
when
dust-
you have a volcanic eruption.
Okay.
Rain.
We need rain. What do we need right now?
Wouldn't we then have a lack of vitamin D?
How long would this dust layer be? What else are we going to summon? If we're going to summon...
I mean, I think Jeff Bezos is actually looking into summoning dust.
Is he?
Putting dust, I think sulfur dust into the stratosphere.
And what's that going to
do? No one really knows how long it's going to last, so it's quite a good question to ask.
If you're going to summon something, you need to know how long you're going to summon it for. Is that maybe a rule of the summoning?
We need to stop burning fossil fuels.
Stop burning fossil fuels.
We keep burning fossil fuels and look at our Earth. We need to keep looking into solar panels, wind energy, and things like that.
Would you like to come join us? Madam in the orange jacket, if you had a superpower, what would it be? Huh? I didn't hear that.
I'm definitely sure Kush has a superpower.
Hey Kush, what's your superpower? Come on, we're talking about superpowers now. What would you summon? Summon that Bentley. Any other things? Summoning the rain, I thought that was a good idea. Do you have a final thought?
A final thought?
A final thought for today before you leave. A final thought, a reflection. A comment, something for us to start talking about.
How will you, climate change still?
Just anything. Superpower, anything.
About the community, maybe.
Just on anything. Like, what's your favourite dog? Anything.
Women's rights.
Yeah, women's rights, cosmetics. Talk about small businesses. And
Small
how we're gonna support
businesses.
them
Oh, you're leaving us though. You're primed to feed in.
Stay here then.
Small businesses. Does anyone what is defined as a small business? What's the definition of a small business?
A business that's small.
Wise.
I think it's any business with a turnover of less than £1 million. So definitely our business qualifies quite easily into that. The people speak, this is our business.
It's a small business.
We're a small business, very small business, micro business.
Micro business, what qualifies as small business?
A business that's not turning over £1 million, but also a business that, I would say, a business that doesn't have a large clientele.
Large clientele. So
yeah, and people and not enough loyal customers.
Okay, look, small customer base. We're talking about small businesses. Come join us.
That's interesting
come join
because
us.
for
Come
me, a
sit.
small
We're just-
business
we're
is
just
more
chatting.
a
We're just
business
chatting.
which doesn't have that many, let's say, employees, or maybe it's only even one person. It's for me, it's not even related like to the customers, or maybe if the product is kind of niche. It's more about the people working for it. So
got a new faces at the table. An extra face, an extra pooch for all. Okay, we're going to do a round of names. Do you want to come join us? Okay, what's your name?
Hello, my name is Kush.
Kush, hello.
I'm Timna.
Timna, what's your name?
I'm Marvin.
Marvin?
Yes,
Marvin, what's her name? Lulu. Beautiful. What's your name?
Jaden.
Jaden?
Nevea.
Nevea?
Mikey.
Mikey?
Junior.
Junior?
Crystal.
Crystal, would you like to come join us? We're just about to chat. We're chatting small businesses. What makes a small business? If we had a superpower, what would it be? Is that what brought you back? You want to tell us what your superpower would be? Give you a minute. We're talking about what small business is, small clientele. Small
Maybe you could
turnover.
say what would a superpower. There's no superhero for small businesses, is there? Like a small business superhero.
What could you summon?
Could combine. What would you
If you're
summon?
a small business.
I would summon £10 million.
£10 million. What would you do with 10 million?
I would invest it into properties.
Into properties. What type of properties?
Good ones.
Into what?
Good ones. Houses.
Didn't hear. Oh, just houses.
Houses. Yeah.
Houses. Who would live in the houses?
People.
People. All right. Okay. Rich people. That would make you rich.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I forgot my question. Sorry.
Okay. Superpower. If you had a superpower, what would it be? Superpower. Superpower would it be? Come join us. This is a pop-up talk show. We'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. Come join us. Come on, just for 2 seconds. What's your superpower? You tell me you don't have a superpower. Come to a super. You definitely have a superpower. What is it?
Hello.
Hi. Hello. What's your name?
My name is Najib.
Najib, come take a seat. This is Talkaoke, the pop-up talk show where we can talk about anything. We're currently talking about what people's superpower is.
Oh my god.
If you had one, if you had any superpower.
It's okay, I have to go somewhere.
You have to go. It's like exiting very quickly is your superpower.
Just small businesses.
We were talking about small businesses.
Yeah,
do you have any friends that have small businesses? No.
2 weeks. Would you interested in doing any business? Like, yeah. Okay. A couple of weeks ago, what did you say your name is again? Crystal. Crystal was here, and I didn't know that it was the cosmetics, the link to you. But when I did see the cosmetics, I asked your people, would they be interested in being at something like hair and beauty show? Yeah, from there, because there's a hair and beauty show that comes over here in Olympia every year. But what I'm finding is there's areas that we're not actually bringing up our youth or introducing them to either. During the pandemic, I can tell you about how many women were stuck to get their nails done, their hair done, their feet done, and if there was somebody that was coming, that was to come to their home, that person made bills. Do you understand me? Yeah? So my point is trying to get youngsters to think of things that they might think is nothing to do with them, that is not a way of making money, that actually, this is a huge thing. In next year, I hope to be in Japan in a hair and beauty show. You wouldn't expect me to be talking about it, but I'm in that world, yes, in the cosmetics and so on like that. So think about Olympia Beauty, October the 2nd and the 3rd, yeah, as well. Because I'm trying to introduce things to youngsters that they might not be thinking about.
So start thinking about the things that you don't think people need and make some money off it because it could be profitable. How could you? This is a little networking opportunity. I think we're gonna do a switch. I'm really keen to know what your superpower is, though. You haven't thought about it.
Would be to read people's minds, because you don't have to question what people are thinking. You already know. So, yeah.
Amazing. And so after this we're gonna.
My wife thinks I have that superpower already, that I can read her mind. And she also thinks I have the incredible power of being able to block out my children when they make too much noise or something.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for the contribution. We're going to do a little switch over of the Talkaoke host now. But thank you.
So we're going to keep it hot. So don't go anywhere. We're going to get. There's so many subjects on the table. I think the thing about small business is really interesting, about entrepreneurship as well. Do we need our young people to have a bit more of an entrepreneurial mindset? Is it a superpower to be able to run a business? Kush we scared him off with this kind of go over the edge of the table, not the middle bit. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Not important right now. I'm going to jump in the middle. My name's Mikey. We're going to keep this so much conversation. Possibly some of it might have something to do with air pollution. Maybe we could have a business about air pollution. How would that work?